The chase for the Cup is 3 races old, and so far, it's been the usual suspects who have been victorious.
And Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500. Matt Kenseth, second time in his career, he sweeps the weekend. Kenseth wins the Auto Club 500. Bring her home, dude. Jimmy Johnson wins the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400, his 3rd Las Vegas victory in a row. Cha-ching!
But today, the chase continues in the South, with the Atlanta Motor Speedway provides no comfort, since it's the home of the photo finish.
Gordon got loose. It's Harvick. Harvick by inches. It's going to be another one of those fantastic Atlanta finishes. He wins.
The checkered flag is up for grabs, and the trail for the trophy continues here, next on Fox.
I'm going left. I'm going left.
Don't you ever go right?
Why would I do that?
From Atlanta, it's the final 43. Madness in March at nearly 200 miles an hour. NASCAR on Fox bringing you America's best drivers at one of the fastest places on earth. Can Kevin Harvick relive that first career victory here in Atlanta? Is this really points leader Mark Martin's last race before his first ever spring break? What about Juan Pablo Montoya? Will Tony Stewart repeat last fall's performance here? And is Dale Earnhardt Jr. ready to win his first race of the year? The answers are 500 miles away on Fox. From our Georgia campus, welcome inside the Hollywood Hotel. Sunny, temperature in the 50s. It's cool, low wind outside there in Atlanta with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hamm, and Chris Myers. Hope you're having a nice St. Patrick's Day weekend. This is where America gathers every weekend, and we have to too. You guys are doing all right?
Oh, we're doing great, man. We're
green on
racing.
St. Patrick's Day.
All right, hey, a 4th race of the season, Darrell. The drivers kind of settling in, trying to get situated, getting comfortable.
Oh, I think so. I think this is one of those races where you can kind of take a deep breath, get the prior 3 races behind you, and look forward to next week. And then the drivers will be saying, yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away.
Why you got to ruin everything? Right on the get-go. I mean, next week is not here. Today is today. It's real racing today, Chris. I mean, that's the key thing about it right now. Today, we're back in Atlanta. These guys can go 3 wide. They're going to be able to get up on the wheel and have some fun, DW.
But next week's a coming.
Oh, come on.
All right, and Ryan Newman was on the pole, but had to move to the back of the pack. We'll explain that in a moment. And we are glad to report this afternoon, Vice Chairman of NASCAR, Bill France Jr., has been given the go-ahead for his release from a Daytona Beach hospital. The 73-year-old France admitted Wednesday for a virus. He's improved each day, keeping in touch with NASCAR President Mike Heldon. And as NASCAR spokesman Jim Hunter told me this morning, Mr. France is still barking, and that's a good sign. And hopefully, Mr. France will be home to watch the end of this race today. And Darrell, he certainly has done so much, and we wish him well.
Yeah, and the reason this sport is where it is today is because of that man, and he's a fighter, and he'll fight to the bitter end.
All right. We certainly hope that he will enjoy this race. The Atlanta Motor Speedway describing itself as the home of real racing, real fast, and that's what drivers are bracing for today. This track has produced some of the most memorable finishes. Dale Earnhardt beating Bobby Labonte to the finish in 2000. Then a year later, Kevin Harvick taking over Earnhardt's ride with that photo finish over Jeff Gordon. That was his first ever win. And then 2 years ago, Carl Edwards flipping out with his first win. So why do drivers, Darrell, enjoy this place so much, going so fast?
Well, you know, I think one reason is that you go fast qualifying. You really are fast when you go out there, 195 miles an hour qualifying. But then the pace slows down gradually to where a driver can enjoy driving his race car. I think that's the thing drivers have here. They always talk about having fun here. The pace slows down, and you can have some fun.
Well, the thing is right now, Chris, what happens at this racetrack, which doesn't happen to a lot of other racetracks, is being seasoned like it is. It does have the 3 grooves, but as Darrell's alluded to, the tires wear out. They start giving up a little bit. A driver can control that steering wheel. He can go out there and put that car where he wants it. He can hunt around and find the grip that's out there and have some fun.
Who are the guys to watch today? Give us the headline.
Obviously, hey, you got to watch the 9 car, the 20 car. I mean, Matt Kenseth is going to be tough. And don't rule out Jeff Burton after that great run he had yesterday. I mean, he could be up on the wheel, too. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
How about Mark Martin and Jimmy Johnson?
I see, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of them. I mean, you can't name them
And what
all.
about Jeff Gordon? And what about
Ellie Sadler?
Well,
I mean, it goes on and on.
We have to pick one, and Jeff mentioned the 9
We
car.
did.
All
We
right, and he
one.
was once named one of People Magazine's most beautiful people, but this year for Casey Kane, it's been anything but pretty. Team director Kenny Francis suspended at Daytona. Casey currently 36th in points, but the good news is this is the track where Kane won the first of his NASCAR leading 6 races last year.
Either I'm bobbing my head or I'm just standing there watching. I'm a hustler, I hustle. You can tell that I'm paid and I protect what I got. I'm running. You know what you're acting like it's down there.
And we welcome Casey Kane from the track, getting ready to go racing. Casey, thanks for being with us. Give us a reason why you are optimistic, other than the fact that you've run well here in the past.
Well, I like what Darrell said. You know, the pace is really quick at the start, and it slows down as the run goes. The tires fall off, and there's a ton of racetrack to use. You can look around and make your car work. And we made some adjustments, talked a lot with Kenny Francis and Keith over the night, and feel like we should have a great Dodge Charger today. I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned Kenny Francis, your crew chief, is still on suspension, Casey. How much have you missed him, and how much are you looking forward to having him back?
Well, I mean, you miss a guy that you win 6 races with your first year together and do a lot of really good stuff together. But, you know, the team has stepped up. They've done an awesome job. Keith's our engineer. He's really taken on a role and done a good job with it. And Nick's came in. So we have a strong Evernham Motorsports, a strong organization there. And, you know, we've missed Kenny, but he'll be back next week. And we're looking forward to having a good day today, and then start off again next week with Kenny and starting some good things at Bristol with the car tomorrow.
Hey, Casey, it's DW. Your car's had a nose job. Good or bad?
I don't know. I think we had a pretty good control on the Charger last year. We made some adjustments this year and felt like it was really good at Kentucky with what we did. The first couple races, it didn't handle as well in traffic, so we did something different for this week with the nose again, and we'll find out what happens today. But I think it's going to be good. It seems like the Dodge teams as a whole have stepped up, and we have better Dodge Chargers. So once we figure it out, hopefully we'll be strong again.
Casey, one more thing. We know it's a family sport, but you have your cousin's a spotter, right? Your brother drives your hauler, your mom's in charge of your fan club. You pretty much entire family involved in your life. How does that make you feel more comfortable when you head to the racetrack?
It feels good. You know, you enjoy working with family and doing a lot of things with family, especially when everybody gets along. And yeah, my cousin Cole spots, and my other cousin Willie was at the World of Outlaw race last night that they won with Joey Saldana. So
great.
It's been fun. We have family everywhere, and everywhere they're at, they're doing a really good job for the Kane family.
Good. Next time we'll ask you what it's like when they don't get along, but we'll say that when we have time.
Hopefully we don't get there.
Every family has those issues. Thanks. All right. Good luck. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Casey. Again, this was the race that kind of got his season going last year. And Ray Evernham, they seem to have the aero program figured out here at tracks like this. Casey has benefited from that.
Well, I know he's benefited from it, but, you know, in practices, Chris, I mean, they haven't been as strong as I thought they were going to be. I mean, I think you saw the other Dodge Chargers, the Penske Chargers have been up front more so during these practice sessions, so I think they still got a little bit of work to do. And
we're not hearing the comparisons anymore about Ray Evernham having worked with Jeff Gordon and the young Casey Kane. Were those accurate?
Yeah, things have changed, you know. Jeff Gordon was responsible for the youth movement in our sport, I think. Ray Evernham was a rule maker. Right. He came with a lot of innovations, but things have changed a lot since then. I think it's different chemistry, different time. Ray's a car owner now, not just a crew chief, but Ray is a big influence in this kid's life. He listens to him. They spend a lot of time together, as well as Kenny Francis. He's a good kid. I like him a lot.
Ray's a great leader. That's all there is to it.
Great leader. Good crew chief.
And in a few moments, you'll be heading up to the booth. Let's head upstairs to the play-by-play booth. Welcome in Larry McReynolds, Mike Choi. Guys, good to see you. What's catching your eye as we get ready for today's race?
Well, Chris, like Las Vegas last week, this is a 1.5 mile track, but it races more like Texas. It's one of the 2 fastest tracks on the whole NASCAR circuit. We don't have the small fuel cell we had last week. Tire wear not expected to be an issue, but Larry, also, we don't have the hard tire we had last week in Las Vegas that some drivers didn't like. Now they've got something else they may not like.
It's always something, pretty much. I mean, Darrell had a great comment about this racetrack in qualifying on Friday. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack, but it's a mile of turns. The poor right side tires, they never get a break. And as I walked through the garage area yesterday, we go back to the Busch race yesterday, there were a lot of right side tire issues, especially if you had a car that was tight or loose. So I think what these guys have got to do, and the driver can play a big role in this, yeah, you've got to make the right adjustments on pit stops, but I think that driver has got to do a couple of things. Move that car around, which you can do here. And as I talked to Todd Barrier, Kevin Harvick's crew chief this morning, part of their strategy is not go out there and just try to run those fast laps, because you may pay the price later on in the run.
Well, let's see, a car that's not tight or loose. Is there any other kind?
A good car.
We'll have to see, Chris.
All right, thanks, guys. And we'll be watching from above the Hollywood Hotel in the garage all over pit road. Let's head down trackside for a preview of what's to come. We begin our Fox Pit Watch with Dick Bergman.
Well, the driver that wins the pole is supposed to start up front. Today, the driver who won the pole is going to start dead last. So we'll talk to Ryan Newman and find out why that happened.
is there any scenario in which the points leader, Mark Martin, will go to Bristol next week? We'll ask him.
A masked man in the NCAA tournament. He could hold the key to Sadler's success. We'll talk to Sadler and explain that connection.
Guys, here's what's around the turn. He has 2 top 5 finishes, so a photo finish for Jeff Burton might be worth watching. He'll take a look at some photos with us. The other Jeff, 3 top 10s this season, 3 career wins at Atlanta. We'll update you on how Gordon is going strong. Everybody feeling the need for speed at the ATL. DW and Jeff, a hot Atlanta hot lap drive and ride. And this season has put some new faces in new places. DW, Jeff, and Krista will break things down American Idol style. All that plus gas and go from Atlanta, where the track is fast and the broadcasters are just trying to keep up.
Tell them to lead lap. That's all we're trying to do.
Jimmy Johnson wins. Cha-ching!
Did you say 3-peat?
Defending NEXTEL Cup champ Jimmy Johnson jumped 11 spots after last week's win in Vegas. Mark Martin still the points leader. How about J.J. Yaley hanging in the top 10 early from Joe Gibbs Racing, and Tony Stewart 13th in points after 2 straight top 10 finishes. And you won't see Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently 28th. Casey Kane, a critical race for him today. After next week is when the owner's points are based on this year's performance, so it gets more and more important.
Yeah, I tell you, this week you better make hay while the sun shines, because I really and truly, I know you don't want to talk about next week, but next week's a crapshoot. I know we're not in Vegas, but next week with the car tomorrow and just Bristol in general, it'll shake things up.
And that's the reason why when you see this after 3 races, these guys are in trouble right now. They're definitely on the bubble. You look back here, Casey Kane, the guy won the pole and won the race here. He's outside of the top 35, DW. And to me, to this race today, it's going to mean more to a lot of these guys to have a good finish than probably to win the race.
Yeah,
I mean, they need to make a big jump before, again, next week.
Yeah, you got to you need a cushion going into next week.
Right.
You need a little insurance policy. Dale Jr. can't have a bad day today, because I'm telling you, Bristol is so unpredictable.
And you talked about the car tomorrow coming in, how this is probably one of the more certain tracks going in that we've seen this year, given the conditions for drivers.
Well, it's a given. I mean, everybody knows this racetrack. There's no surprises, so don't let it sneak up on you and bite you.
Jeff Gordon has done well here, winning 3 times. Jeff Gordon recently married, has a baby girl on the way. Seems like nothing is slowing him down for the first time since '97. Jeff has started the season with 3 straight top 10s. Last time he did that, he won the championship.
Here comes Jeff Gordon.
I would be looking out for the old 24 car, no matter what color it is.
The 24 car is up there in the top 5 now.
This looks like it'd be a big year for Jeff.
Jeff Gordon made his Cup debut here in November of 1992. He's gone on to win 75 times, 4 of those coming here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Jeff, you guys are off to a blazing start. Confident today?
I feel really good. I love this racetrack, and you know, Steve Letarte, all the guys on DuPont Chevrolet have been bringing great race cars, and then they've been performing well in the race, from the pit stops to you know, making great calls, making good adjustments. So we're having a lot of fun out there right now, and this is one of my favorite tracks among a lot of other guys, and got a great starting position here, and hopefully we can maintain that. We weren't great in yesterday's practice, but I feel like the track's going to be so much different today than it was yesterday.
All right, good luck. Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Thank you.
Let's go to Dick Bergeron.
Well, Ryan Newman won the pole, but then they had engine problems, had to change the engine. That means you start dead last today. How do you get through all those cars and keep the fenders on it?
Well, it's the best racetrack to do that kind of thing, I guess, if you had to do it any place. Just look forward to it. Our all-tall Dodge is fast. Penske Jasper engine we have it now strong, and just look forward to the opportunity. It should be a lot of fun.
Well, Bobby Labonte has won from 39th starting position. We'll see if you can win from 43rd. Let's go to Krista Voda.
North Carolina basketball player Tyler Hansbrough wears a mask because of a broken nose. He ripped it off last night, said it was uncomfortable. That's Elliott Sadler's favorite team, his favorite player. You said your car was uncomfortable yesterday in final practice. So can you use a little Hansbrough motivation?
Oh, I wish we could. I wish it was that easy where we can just rip off a mask. And yeah, my boys played pretty good last night, but my car was not as comfortable as we need to have it yesterday. We made some changes, and hopefully we can go off today kind of like he did last night. But my Dodge Charger will be fine. It was very fast in qualifying, so we know it's got a lot of speed in it. And now we just got to make it comfortable for the long run and where it won't use up the tires so much. So we'll see. We made some adjustments to it. The track is beautiful today. Not a lot of wind. It's a little more heat, a little more sunshine today, so we should be fine.
All right. Well, he starts out with a clear view starting on the front row.
Elliott Sadler in the Kobalt Tools 500 presented by DLP HD TV, and Jeff hopes to get the trophy if Elliott pulls into victory lane. Any driver will get this. This looks like the one you carry around in your back.
That was in my back pocket, guys, but you know, working with a couple of loose nuts like you, I mean, you tighten you up.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Probably big enough, but you know, your toolbox must be awesome.
It is.
Yeah, you must have. You got a set of these.
I'll tell you what. He can hold this all after just to show his muscles off. But Ryan Newman, we heard his comment about here. He runs over 193 miles per hour on the pole, and then has to go back because of an engine change. Let's talk about the effect that has on him and Kurt Busch. Actually, Penske Racing, he has run well too. So maybe this is where they turn it around.
This is where they need to turn it around, Chris. I mean, because during practice session, Kurt Busch had one of the best average laps, runs as far as 10 laps are concerned, and then we know that Ryan can be fast, but he needs to be able to move it to the end of the race. I mean, at the first part of the race, nobody really cares. Go out and lead you a few laps, they get the bonus points, but it's at the end. Closing a deal out is what's so important, and hopefully this Penske group has got that figured out.
But I asked Casey about his car, the nose job on the Dodge.
Right.
So far, we've seen a lot of speed out of him. 7 out of the top 10 last week qualifying. Number of Dodges in the top 10 this week qualifying, but they don't seem to be able to race that well. That's going to be the thing that's going to hinder Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and the whole crowd.
As we head to break real quick, pole overrated or not here? How critical?
I think it's a little bit overrated. I mean, the only thing about it is you get a chance to kind of set the standard for what the fastest track is, and that's something kind of carries all year long.
Pit selection. Don't ever overlook the importance of that.
J.J. Yeley in the top 10 in points. And Kyle Busch had a rough finish in the Busch race yesterday. He's had some unfortunate luck. Danny Hamlin, part of Gibbs Racing. They've been successful here. We're counting it down in Atlanta. The Kobalt Tools 500 presented by DLP HD TV is sponsored by Kobalt, the next generation of tough tools, available exclusively at Lowe's. By Wendy's, new 4-alarm spicy chicken sandwich. And by DLP HD TV, powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Fox Sports will be back here in Atlanta April 7th. Most of you will see the Braves from Turner Field facing the Mets. Major League Baseball on Fox is back. New starting time, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Join Jeannie Zalesko and the crew. Rookie David Reagan from Georgia grew up a Braves fan. He drives for Roush Fenway Racing. I asked him if he's a Red Sox fan. He said, well, I hate the Yankees, so I'll fit in just fine. He is one of the new faces, and there are also some familiar faces that are in new places. And to judge their performances so far, we've borrowed a concept from a Fox show, Darrell, that's even more popular than ours.
No way.
Really? Yeah.
This is the hottest show on TV right here.
We're here in Atlanta, 4th stop on our tour for drivers and new rides. And so far, the judges have been pretty tough. Myers out.
It's got to be a huge learning curve for him.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. I really like it. You're kind of bringing an open wheel attitude to NASCAR. I can dig it, dog. I really can dig it.
Well, I just love saying his name. It just rolls off your tongue. One. I also loved watching you win that Busch race in Mexico. Now, I do wish you could have done it without taking out your teammate, but it was a win, and I just loved it.
You're pathetic.
What?
You're pathetic. It was a Busch race on a road course. If you want to show me something, win a cup race on an oval.
An unhappy weekend for Casey Mears.
Yeah, dog. I mean, it's just not working for me. You've only had one top 20 finish. Barely.
Well, Casey, I think you're a sweetie. I like you.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Well, you do need to take it to the next level, but I like him.
Let me get this straight. After 3 races last year, you were 4th in the points. You go to Hendrick Motorsports, this year, 34th in the points. Hey, what's going on? It's mind-boggling.
He's caught in a trap and can't get out.
I don't know what it is, but I'm not feeling it.
Well, I'm a fan. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. You're a former champion, but I will say lately, I'm not really feeling it either.
Listen, it's simple. You've used 4 of your 6 championship provisionals. Hey, dude, you're just hanging on.
Mikey's off to a rough start. There's no question about it.
Mike, dog, where you been? You got minus 27 points. I mean, look at this. I haven't even run a race, and I'm ahead of you. It's not good, dog. Not good at all.
Well, sweetie, I know you had big plans for your new team, but something does have to change. And I know you have a lot of fans, and they want to see you race.
Oh, brother, where art thou? I love you, man. I love you. I got some good news. It can only go up.
He is now the NEXTEL Cup point leader.
Woo, 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 woo. I'm telling you right now, we got a hot one here. I'm feeling it, dog. I am feeling it.
I got to say, I am too. You're leading the points, and I really, really hope we see you next week.
I don't want to hear it, but it's the best performance so far. It would be an absolute shame, Mark, if you wasted it on a limited schedule.
First of all, you guys are great. You don't use dog unless you're hunting.
Shut up,
all
dog.
All of a sudden, he's a
You're getting ready to
regular.
be the dog house.
And you're a
Dog
nice
face.
You're a nicer guy than Simon. You tried to be mean.
I wanted to be like him, but I really don't have it in me.
And
I really don't.
Krista playing
I hate
ball
to tell
out.
you something. You're lying. You're lying.
All right, but the early reviews are, it is shocking, right, that Mark Martin has done as well. So Regan Smith, and we're going to hear from Mark here. He hasn't even had a chance to get in. One of the new
Let's
faces.
don't call it shocking. Let's just call it surprising. We know what kind of talent Mark Martin is, okay? But the team, we didn't realize when they got together, the results were going to be this good.
Unexpected. I think that's the perfect word, because I don't think Mark I believe Mark thought he would slide in here, run a few races, go home, and nobody would notice.
All right, Brian Vickers also one we didn't mention, but he was, 12th in points last time. Of course, has missed some races. The changeover hurt him. Mentioning Mark Martin at age 48, who finished second 4 times in his career in the points championship. That's the most by any driver who has yet to win a title. Well, today, Mark starts his 621st consecutive race, but after today, Steve, as we bring in Steve Burns, Martin's streak could come to an end. It's scheduled to. Is he going to stick to his plan?
Well, let's find out. Chris, I'll tell you this. We were backstage a moment ago, and Kyle Busch walked up, put his arm around Mark, and said, come on, man, go with us to Bristol. So, Mark, the question is there any scenario in which you will be there next weekend?
No, but, I want to thank everybody, especially all the fans, for their support, and the U.S. Army team for putting me in a position to drive such great cars and have the best job in racing.
All right, best of luck today, Mark, and everybody respects you here. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to invite all the fans to come see us Easter weekend in Batesville. We're going to have a blast. We got all kinds of stuff to do there, dirt track racing, lots of autographs, and be hanging out with the fans all weekend.
All right, thank you, Mark.
All right, thanks, Steve and Mark, and we'll invite Mark to sit in his rocking chair that we gave him, and he can watch the race, NASCAR at Fox, if he's not going to run at Bristol.
No, but he is committed not to run Bristol and Martinsville, and next time we're going to see Mark's Texas. I'm positive of that.
All right. Would you change?
I'm kind of positive. No. I'm pretty positive.
He's retired before.
It's a definite maybe.
We've had 8 winners in the last 8 spring races here in Atlanta. Who's going to pull into victory lane today? And welcome back to Atlanta. At the infield earlier, our Jeff Hammond dangling 50 feet below a Black Hawk helicopter, part of a tribute to America's servicemen and women, and in particular 12 Special Operations Forces warriors that have recently served in the Middle East. There's old Hammond right there with a safe landing. Nice work. Looked like you were just kind of hanging on.
Well, look, after hanging out with you guys, that was a piece of cake right there, guys. But I got news for you. General Brown, Colonel Malani, part of the Special Forces, thank you very much for a great experience.
That was Hammond's version of rope-a-dope.
Okay.
Get out of here. Get out. We got a great military, guys. Yes. We can't say enough about it. And I just had an opportunity to do something really special.
Totally agree, and we'll give Daryl some soap on our own. One of the hot topics this week, he thought that was a good line, too, surrounded Jimmy Johnson at a couple of pit stops, and that leads us to this week's Fox News Watch. The 48 team receiving a penalty for a loose tire infraction, but no penalty assessed later in the race when an official actually held the tire back. Unlikely Johnson would have been able to win had they called an infraction at that time. Meanwhile, IRL star Sam Hornish Jr. says he's going to race in the Cup race at the Brickyard 400. Supercross champ Ricky Carmichael says he's ready to make the jump to stock cars with Bobby Ginn Racing. Yesterday in the Busch race here, Leffler and Reed Sorensen in a wreck, both drivers okay. Kyle Busch had a pit problem that cost him, and Jeff Burton winning his second consecutive Busch race. Time now for Gas and Go. I ask questions our guys have never heard. They give us answers we may not want.
I got a better idea. Let's just go.
All right, no, we need you for this, right? Plus, you're on a time limit. When you hear the bell, you got to be quiet. All right, Daryl, did Jimmy Johnson get special treatment in the pits last week in Las Vegas?
No, if you watch the video, Chad didn't let the car leave until the tire had been retrieved on that penalty when they were talking about giving a penalty. He sat there, he saw the tire get away. The guys got the tire. They brought it back before the car left pit box. No harm, no foul. Good call.
All right, and Hammond, the crew chief, agrees. All right, Jeff, this for you, 15 seconds. Why do drivers like this track so much. It's fast. We've talked about great finishes here.
Chris, I think the biggest reason from a crew chief's viewpoint is the fact that you can let the race car have its head. If it wants to run on the bottom, I mean, that's where a lot of drivers want to go, work on it. But if it wants to move up a little bit, no big deal. You can keep tuning your race car, and the driver himself can kind of hunt around all day long and find the ideal groove. That's what you want about, what I like about this racetrack.
You got into my time,
He's a crew chief. All right, Darrell, is Dale Earnhardt Jr. back on track? Finally finished the race last week, heading in the right direction. Have you seen enough?
You know, I keep feeling that there's something missing there. There's just not the harmony. I listen to them on the scanner. They work on the car. They're a family. They always are kind of feuding a little bit. I'm just not sure they're there, but if they are, we'll know it today because this is one of his favorites.
I'm not feeling it, dog.
I'm feeling it, baby.
Enough with the dog. All right, Jeff, this is for you. Now that it's over, the new Las Vegas track last week, a record 26 lead changes. The drivers avoided setting a caution record. All the complaints, though, good, bad. What's the final review?
Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
The biggest thing is right now, they don't want to go back there anytime soon. I can promise you that right now. I talked to a lot of guys in the garage area. The race was okay from their viewpoint, but it was a nail biter, and they don't like that from a driver's viewpoint as well as a crew chief's viewpoint. Wait till next year.
Much ado about nothing, and don't talk about next year.
All right, Darrell. Yeah, we'll talk about today. All right, Darrell, talk about this track, the great finishes with such speed here. Why is that the case?
Yeah, tell us.
You know, it's kind of like you got those two grooves, and you got this momentum. You got this big swing. You get up on that high side. You get that swing coming off turn 4. As long as this guy will give you a little bit of room on the inside, you're going to have a drag race. They ought to call that front straightaway a drag strip.
All right, I like that. Very creative, and your passion was good. All right, Simon would have given you a thumbs up. All right,
I'm bringing it, dog. I'm bringing it.
This is for both of you. Jeff, you go first. Who's your NASCAR Final Four?
No, wait a minute. Current or past?
No, this is current. Let's go current. Yeah,
okay.
give me current guys here. This is your,
all right.
for this year.
For this year, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, and Kevin Harvick.
Okay. How about you?
Did you look at my notes?
Tell me you have the same ones.
Four champions, though. Tony Stewart, no question. Jeff Gordon, no question. Jimmy Johnson, no question. The fourth one, questionable, but I'm going to go with Kenseth because he's a champ.
All right, all guys we'll see in action today. All right, Jeff Burton certainly not in the mix there, but Jeff won the Atlanta Busch race we saw. Currently, Burton is third in Cup point standings, and when he retires, he said he wants to become a U.S. Senator. We're not sure who might run against him. The election might be close to calls, but when it comes to experiencing a photo finish, let the record show that Jeff gave his first big break right here. Welcome to another edition of Photo Finish. Our contestant driver, Jeff Burton. Jeff, nice to see you again.
Can I lose in this game?
No, all right.
I'm good then. I'm good.
Winners. You're a family guy. When you see that photo, what comes to mind?
That was a really special day. My son had, he'd been in Victory Lane, but he was this big. And my daughter had been to Victory Lane a bunch, so it was for him, it was kind of like the first time.
And Kim, your wife later here, it's a prom picture, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's not a very good picture of me. And I'm kind of wondering how you got that picture.
Well, we do a lot of research here. We have people that
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There will be retribution.
That's pretty cool.
That is one of my favorite pictures. Yeah, that's a little short run. That's me, and then on the end is that's my brother Ward. In the middle is the better of all of us from driving. Our middle brother Brian, who is the family patriarch. That was a Virginia State Championship race, and we all three won our feature events.
Thanks for playing along. You get free rollover minutes from St.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, the brothers bond. By the way, Michael Waltrip gave me a question, said, why do you keep asking my brother about
why do you keep asking me about that?
That's part of my job. All right, Jeff Burton, his best finish in terms of a championship, third back in 2000. You didn't have him in your Final Four. He's running well. Is he a guy who could win?
Well, he could win. I mean, the children's teams overall are performing very well, and he's sort of the leader of that group.
All right, give us a little song to break here since you had your you got something?
Yesterday.
Oh, man,
all my troubles seem so far away.
What about the car tomorrow?
Now it looks as though they're here to stay.
As Simon would say, atrocious.
Oh, I
terrible.
We'll be back.
In yesterday.
Sickening.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, about 25 miles south of Atlanta, and the temperature today in the 50s. It's sunny and cool. That's cool for the deep south. Getting ready to go trackside. 500 miles, high-speed action ahead for NASCAR on Fox. But let's take you down for opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Lovejoy High School Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Atlanta Motor Speedway Chaplain Bill Brannon delivers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this beautiful sunshiny day where once more you show us your love and kindness. As the drivers and the crews use the abilities that you have given them, we ask you that you would once more show your kindness and protect them. Keep all those involved here safe from harm. Say hey to James for us. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 903 music recording artist Daryl Worley as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The crowd, the crews, and the drivers ready to roll. Two drivers from the state of Georgia, Reed Sorensen and David Reagan. Georgia, the #1 producer for peanuts, pecans, and peaches. What about Petty Enterprises today? Bobby Labonte, 6 wins in his career here. NASCAR and Fox, glad to have you along for the Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HD TV. And terrific weather greeting the crowd and the drivers today. The starting grid will be below the screen as Jeff Hammond and I talk to you from the Hollywood Hotel, a great location here. We'll be getting you started with the opening of the race in just a few moments. All right, Jeff, you always go through the garage when you're not kind of parachuting through the sky. What was the buzzword today?
Believe it or not, comfortable. I think most of these teams right now are very comfortable with the fact that they've got a racetrack here that they know how to deal with. The race cars are responding like they're supposed to, Chris, so that gives them that comfort level right now that they enjoy racing here.
In the race today, 19 Chevrolets, 11 Dodges, 9 Fords, 4 Toyotas. Toyota, Dodge have some work to do, but Toyota, how are they doing their review? Because on the track, the results have not been good.
I think they still got a lot of work to do. I think they will tell you real quick that they've got part of it figured out, but they got a lot of it they've got to work on. And I think guys like Michael Waltrip, as well as the Red Bull team, and even including Bill Davis, they still need to pick it up when it comes to Toyota.
And when you talk about race teams and their success, Joe Gibbs Racing has won 8 of the last 21 races here at this Atlanta track. Guys like Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, and Yaley, J.J. Yaley, who's done well so far this year. Probably a crew to watch. What do they have figured out that others may watch?
I think they've got their cars where they can run the bottom and keep the tires on them like none before. I think that's the key thing right now. Tony Stewart and when Bobby Labonte used to drive for these guys, they could run around the bottom of this racetrack, and it's real bumpy down there, but they could carry a lot of speed through there, basically roll the center of the corner and still have the exit speed that you get from up on top.
Now, Roush Racing, they haven't exactly been at their best, but Carl Edwards, a guy who we know had his first career win here in Atlanta. Is he a guy we might see flipping out?
He loves this racetrack. I mean, he'll tell you right quick, if there's a racetrack on the circuit that he likes better than Atlanta, he don't know where it's at, because this is the kind of place he feels like it's a dirt track. You can kind of slide the car up to the top, find a little bit of grip, and get going once again. So he likes it, and he could be a guy that could spoil a lot for a lot of different drivers.
What's the crew chief telling his driver as we start the race, Jeff, knowing you got 500 miles before we have one of those crazy finishes?
You can't win it in one lap, guys. Stay away. Take care of your tires and be on top of your game.
And we're getting ready to go racing 500 miles from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Good to have you along with us. Let's head down trackside.
And now please welcome today's Grand Marshal, President and Chief Operating Officer of Lowe's, Larry Stone, as he gives those most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Martin hoping his last ride before his spring break he'll be able to hold on to the points lead or maybe provide a little cushion. The guys who call the race upstairs, Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Chris. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Well, we know that tires will be a concern. They were last week in Las Vegas. Some drivers thought the tires were too hard. Here, they were wearing fast in yesterday's Busch race. There is a bit of concern, Larry. How do you get your driver to race to a pace instead of just racing flat out?
Much easier said than done, because if he sees a guy up there that's running much faster than he is, he's going to try to run that same pace. But I think what you have to do is make him understand, yeah, we can run these fast laps early, but we're going to pay the price down the road. But trust me, if we see anyone has a tire problem, or when I give my driver that information, that first set of tires, that will dictate his pace right off the bat.
Yeah, you know, you better come today with your work clothes on. I can tell you that. It's a 500-mile race. Yeah, it's got a lot of grooves, and you do slip and you do slide, but you got to stay on top of your game too, because that slipping and sliding, you'll get in trouble. And Larry, about those tires, the first time I see somebody with a tire problem, I'm going to be calling you and saying, "What's going on? Is everything okay?"
And then the next thing I'm going to hear him say, "I'm in the pits now."
So are you racing the competition, Darrell, or are you racing the racetrack in the early going today?
Well, I love to break a race down in 3 parts. You got the start, then you got the middle where you kind of set the stage for what's going to happen at the end. So that middle part is strategy. Remember, even though they're going around and around and say, what are they doing? They're developing a strategy to win this race at the end of the day. That's what the crew's doing. That's what the driver's doing. That's what we're all going to wait for, see who wins this thing.
All right, let's hop into the auto zone, driving zone, as Simon and his buddy, Dog, take us for a ride in the Richard Petty driving experience car.
We're going to bring it to you.
Driving along in my automobile. I got my buddy beside me at the wheel.
One thing that makes Atlanta unique is the turns. You have 1 mile of turns. So you're in the turns about, what, Jeff, 70% of the time probably.
So what that means is you've got to have a car that handles really well. You've got to be able to take advantage of these big sweeping turns. So you want the car to be able to roll off in the turn, not be loose getting in, because you carry a lot of speed here. Get back in that throttle as quick as possible and get it wide open. Short straightaways means you got to carry the momentum off the turn and down the straightaway, even though it is short.
I want you to look how long we're in the turns. Here we are, we're going down into turn 1. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, 1,006, 1,007, 1,008, 1,009, 1,010 before we actually get up on this little quarter of a mile straightaway right here.
Darrell, I'm real impressed. I didn't realize you could count that high.
And listen, I can't go any faster than that because he gets scared and can't talk. So I have to kind of keep the pace down when we're doing our little shoot there.
But you're just on that straightaway long enough to just catch your breath and maybe check the gauges.
You never really get you never really center the steering wheel up. Even when you come off the corner, by the time you get down to the other corner, you're in there again turning hard left. Left, 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 left.
And I think that's one reason we underestimate the role of the spotter here. That spotter is so important because not only is he taking care of you in this mile of corners, he's also going to give that driver information. Hey, this car has moved up the racetrack and he's really making up some ground.
There are the spotters up on the roof here in Atlanta. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR NEXTEL Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Ryan Newman, whose 7th Atlanta pole ties Buddy Baker's record. And Ryan is the latest Budweiser shootout eligible driver. Getting ready to race here in Atlanta, 500 miles today under cool, but not the chilly skies we had just the last couple of days. And now for a word from our defending NEXTEL Cup champion.
Hey guys, Jimmy Johnson here. I want to welcome you to the inaugural Kobalt Tools 500. The track looks good. It's going to be some great racing today, great weather. Stay tuned for more action.
Welcome back to Atlanta. The Kobalt Tools 500 today in high definition on Fox. Today's FedEx racetrack sent in by Eric from Medina, Ohio. Last week, new asphalt in Las Vegas. Look at how light gray this asphalt is, Larry. It's a seasoned racetrack. What is that?
It's 10 years old. It's had 10 winters and 10 summers, and the hope is for Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it'll have that on it when we get there next year.
It's a lot like us.
Season. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Folks, you're encouraged to write in your questions about each track we visit. We'll feature a letter each week. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword FedEx for more information.
Let's see if we can talk to the star of the show. I mean, the guy that's been the star of the show the last few weeks. Hey, Mark Martin, it's DW in the Fox Television booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Hey, DW. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Hey, Mark, when the season started, did you have any idea that you were going to be sitting here coming into this race, leading the points with the things that you had already committed to?
No, Darrell, I didn't. But one thing I did know, that this was a team that had suffered a lot of setbacks and had done very well, even though that they had suffered a lot of setbacks. They've shown me so much guts and determination. And for me, they've made me look like a hero this year. So I really admire and love them and enjoy driving their race car.
All right, now me and all your buddies, we're going to be in Bristol next week. When are we going to see you again?
You can see me, my fans can see me in Batesville Easter weekend, or if they want to see me on the racetrack, it'll be Texas.
Buddy, you look cool sitting in there. Like your helmet, like your shield. Good luck, man. Have a great day. Leave here with a point lead.
Hey, DW, you and I are going to have to do some more reflecting in that rocket chair here pretty soon.
Roger that, buddy. See you.
Mark Martin is the point leader in the NEXTEL Cup Series. How about a look at our Kobalt Tools of the race, Larry?
Don't be afraid to move that car around. If it'll run faster, drive better, move it to the top or stay at the bottom. That is the shortest distance, but don't be afraid to move it around. Fine line. We talked about handling problems. We talked about tire problems. You have it where it's not too tight, not too loose. You won't have any problems today. And you know what? Strategy's pretty easy. Caution comes out, 4 tires, because we see almost a second give up over about a 10 or 12 lap run.
We saw a lot of gambling last week and a lot of, during the race, we saw a lot of gambling, 2 tires, no tires, that sort of thing.
But we had much smaller fuel cells than we have today.
Getting ready to race for 500 miles.
Well, DW, long race. As you said, let's race the elements. Keep an eye on that tack on fresh tires. And oh, by the way, buddy, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Thank you, crew chief. Thank you very much.
A blustery day. Tire wear perhaps a concern after yesterday's Busch race, but here 43 of America's best are about to go at it for 500 miles.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Because Ryan Newman changed engines, he drops to the back of the field, and the entire inside lane moves up. That's why Jimmy Johnson started this race from pole, and we started Atlanta just like we finished at Vegas. Johnson and Jeff Gordon out front.
And we got the whole Hendrick group out front because Kyle Busch, he beat Elliott Sadler back to the line 1, 2, 3 for Hendrick Motorsports.
Right now, as we did our drive and ride the other day, we went out on low air about what these guys would be going out on. And the cars are really squirrely for about 5 laps.
Tony Stewart takes him 3 wide, trying to get what he can get in the early going here.
Well, that's what you do, Mike. You're real aggressive on the start. Get them while they're all grouped up like this. This is your best chance.
And get them while you got fresh tires.
Fresh tires, yeah.
Reed Sorensen in the 41 brings it right back to Stewart around the outside. And Sorensen takes over that 9th spot.
Boy, Stewart's car was so good right there, right around the bottom. Now, Kyle Busch, the 5 car, a lot like yesterday, really good on fresh tires. He goes by his teammate, Jeff Gordon, in the 24.
I tell you, that 5 car has been incredible every race. Led so many laps in every race, but can't get it to victory circle.
In both series, Busch and NEXTEL Cup. But this is what you have to be really careful of. And I talked about this in the pre-race, talked about it a while ago, is make sure you're not too fast early and you pay the price once these tires really get some laps on them.
People ask me all the time, why is that 48 car so good? Why do they win all the races? Do I need to tell you? Look where he is. He's fast. He's fast everywhere we go.
Dick Berggren.
Well, not only is Jimmy Johnson fast, but in addition, Darrell, he had no tire problems at all during the practice sessions, and I talked to him moments before the start. His strategy, take off, and that's exactly what he's doing. On the other hand, Kyle Busch, who is running in second position behind him, had lots of tire problems, and it's a bit of a surprise to see him running this hard this early.
Right, Dick. Only 5 cars have a fastest lap under 30 seconds, and they are the front 5: Johnson, Busch, Gordon, Sadler, and Stremme. A number of drivers are already at race pace, 30, 50, and even a little bit slower than that, being a little conservative early, like Larry pointed out.
Yeah, and normally tire wear and tire problems improve as the race goes along. The teams make adjustments. The track gets some rubber in it, a little bit more rubber in the groove, and it usually improves as the race goes along.
And I do want to stress, we had no tire issues to speak of in the 2 practice sessions that we had yesterday. We did have some in the Busch race, but Goodyear brought a little tougher, a little harder tire for the right side, the anticipation that they will cause no problems.
Let's go to the pits of the 3rd place car, Steve Burns.
Mike, Jeff Gordon just said his number 24 car is just a little bit too snug. As crew chief Steve Letarte said this morning, they learned some valuable lessons at California. They didn't want to make Jeff too tight to start this race.
Well, that would concern me too, Larry, as you well know. If you're a little snug, that's putting a lot of extra pressure on that right front tire when you're running through these big turns the way we do.
Well, that goes back to one of our Kobalt Tools to the race. If you're too tight, the front end's pushing, you're overworking the right front. If you're loose, you're overworking the right rear.
Dale Jr. already searching, running up the racetrack. He's 16th. That's Casey Kane just ahead of him.
You see right there, the end of the shortest straightaway, 195 miles per hour. Now we've got this battle for second. Jeff Gordon goes back by his teammate Kyle Busch in the 5.
You know, Jeff Gordon reminds me of Tiger Woods. I mean, Jeff Gordon he takes a race car, he takes a racetrack, and he adapts quickly, better than other teams do, better than other drivers do. And even on his worst day, he's got a little bit something that the others don't seem to have.
Jimmy Johnson has opened up a 2-second lead over Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch. Elliott Sadler, David Stremme, Mark Martin, and here's Tony Stewart in 7th, 5.5 seconds back.
And Steve, he started back in 13th. He looks like he's trying to pick up where he left off in the fall race when he led over 140 laps and won that race.
Yeah, Larry Mack, he led 146. I asked his crew this morning if it was the same car. They said absolutely. I said, is it as good today? They said, we're not sure. But just before the race, Tony Stewart said, the warmer it is, the better I am here. So he's very optimistic.
So he likes it sliding around.
Yeah, and I just came over from a Hollywood hotel, and it's nice out there, right? No wind. It's pretty warm, probably 60-odd degrees. Feels very comfortable. Good for racing.
Jimmy Johnson in the Lowe's Kobalt Chevy out front by 2.5 seconds in Atlanta.
The Kobalt Tools 500 presented by DLP HTV is sponsored by Kobalt, the next generation of tough tools, available exclusively at Lowe's. By DirecTV, just say ride shotgun on race day with NASCAR Hot Pass only on DirecTV. By Chevy, the most wins in NASCAR history, an American revolution. And by DLP HDTV, powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors.
16 laps complete. Jimmy Johnson leading teammates Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch by 3 seconds. But the big mover, Tony Stewart. Stewart is 6 seconds off the lead. He's now climbed up into 4th position. You just saw him pass Elliott Sadler. Mark Martin has moved up to 6th. Time for our first AT&T Singular Virtual Crew Chief question. Which former winner at Atlanta has the best chance of winning today? You get to pick from Tony, from Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Jimmy Johnson. To answer, text the word crew to 191 on your AT&T Singular wireless phone. Singular is the new AT&T.
Let's update our pole sitter, Ryan Newman. Remember, sat on the pole but had to go to the rear of the field like Dick Berggren talked to him in the pre-race because of an engine change. Not really making a lot of ground up. Right now he's sitting back there in 35th place, and he's 20 seconds behind our leader, Jimmy Johnson.
Trouble for Kyle Busch, or did he just move over and let Tony go?
It looks like trouble, Mark.
Yeah, I believe he's in trouble.
I believe it's maybe that the tire problem that they were worried about. Let's see what he's going to do.
Dick Berggren.
There is a vibration in the number 5 car, Mike. Not sure what it is yet. The crew's not sure what it is yet, but we're going to find out shortly because he's on his way to his pit.
And Dick Berggren, I believe you're vibrating because you're hustling down there.
He's vibrating too.
45 miles per hour pit road speed. They're going to probably go ahead and do 4 tires because there's no way to determine where the vibration is. You might as well get 19 laps into this race.
But see, that's the problem you have when you start to race with that in the back of your mind. As soon as something happens, maybe it's nothing to worry about, but as soon as something happens, car change a little bit, hit pit road, because you've already got that in your mind.
And the cars and drivers that just saw that 5 car hit pit road, they're going to be asking what's wrong with the 5 car.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. Every driver will be saying, hey, is everything okay?
We'll have a crowd looking at the tires that came off that car. As Larry pointed out, tires not expected to be a concern here, but in yesterday's Busch race, there were some right side tires that came off cars that were worn to the cord or down to the casing. So I see Dick is in the midst of all that. We'll get a report shortly as Dale Earnhardt Jr. has gone past Carl Edwards and moved into the top 10.
We knew he was going to probably move up. You can see him playing with that throttle till it gets all the way off the corner. But he was pretty happy with his race car yesterday in those 2 practice sessions.
You see how early you back out of the throttle, but now listen how quickly you get back in it. And that's how you run Atlanta. Back off early, then get the car in, get it set, and then nail it wide open.
Chris Devoto.
The report on Dale Jr. right now, he says he's tight in the center of 1 and 2 and losing it a bit in 3 and 4. But we're happy to report that that smoke that was in his car yesterday during final practice isn't an issue. So guys, his innards are just fine.
That's good.
And that was what he told his crew yesterday,
right,
when something inside was kind of not smelling good or sounded like it smelled like it was burning.
All right, Dick Berggren, how about Kyle Busch?
The old, you picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel. Loose wheel for sure. And you know what's ironic about that? Yesterday, he had the Busch race aced. I mean, he had everybody covered until the very last pit stop. When somebody left a lug nut off, he had to repit because of that, and as a result, he lost the race. And he starts out today with a loose wheel with a car that was capable of winning, so he's in the back of the pack.
But Dick, I would be concerned about that because, yeah, you can see where you might end up with a loose lug nut after a pit stop, but these guys have about 150 item checklist on the side of this race car, and one of those items is torque the wheel. So that's the wheels he started the race with.
What my old crew chief used to say, get me a name.
That's it.
Kurt Busch, passing David Stremme. 2 of the Dodges that ran well here in qualifying and practice. That's for 8th place. Right now, Dodge has 5 of the front 9 positions.
Yeah, Kurt Busch was the fastest car in that final practice. He just didn't lay the qualifying lap down that he was looking for, but I've been watching. He's been steadily moving up.
Well, today, I'm sorry, Mike, but today the Dodges do look a lot better than they did last week. Look, I'm here in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, we've got 5 in the top 9 right now, actually.
Jamie McMurray is our biggest mover. The Irwin Industrial Tools Ford. Up to 23rd, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has picked up 12 spots. Another driver who's done well after starting out back is Brian Vickers. His Toyota has now climbed up to 25th position. As he works his way past J.J. Yaley, goes after Sterling Marlin for 24th. There are the Toyotas in the race. 4 of them qualified for the event. Brian Vickers and David Rudiman running a couple positions apart.
Rudiman had a good finish yesterday, 13th in the Busch race in a Toyota, so slowly but surely they'll get there.
Bud, you're looking good through these corners. Got a nice car here.
Jimmy Johnson has opened a 4.5 second lead, but Tony Stewart is eating away at it from 3rd place.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HDTV, is sponsored by Coca-Cola. Thanks for drinking.
Jimmy Johnson leads Jeff Gordon by 3.5 seconds. One change in the top 10. Martin Truex has climbed his way up in there, up into 9th position in his #1 Chevrolet from DEI. He battles Kurt Busch right now for that 7th place.
One good thing about this long green run already, we're going to see how far these cats can go on the new fuel cells they've got.
That's right.
These things are right around 18 gallons, so we'll see what that looks like.
We've talked about this being a seasoned racetrack and, most importantly, a multi-groove racetrack. And for that reason, a lot of drivers really like racing here.
You have a lot more going on. You have a lot more options as a driver, especially Atlanta and how Rockham was. You can run the bottom, you can run the top, you run the middle. You can find somewhere that just has a little more grip and makes your car go a little faster.
You know, Atlanta's a fun place for me to go race, but you know, the speeds are high. You can run the bottom for the first couple laps, then you kind of go to the top and you run around the rim.
And that puts on a good show. That puts on a great race. You know, you got guys in the bottom, the top, the middle, and those are kinds of racetracks that we need more of.
Will complete lap 36 under caution. Debris on the racetrack puts us under yellow. Lapping had just begun. Kyle Petty had gone a lap down, and Kyle Busch lost a lap in the pits. Petty will get the free pass, and we'll have 42 cars on the lead lap when we restart.
And just to follow up on what Darrell was talking about, you know, last year we ran 22-gallon fuel cells some places, the 13.5-gallon cell like at Lowe's. This year, across the board, with the exception of Vegas last week, 18-gallon fuel cell. These guys were going to be able to go about 50 to 52 laps on fuel. So we were about 15 to 16, 17 laps away from what would be a green flag stop.
And probably a pretty timely caution, I might say, for checking the old tires.
For everybody but Kyle Busch, right?
Well, he's now he'll be the only car 1 lap down, so the next time he'll get the courtesy pass. The beneficiary, that's the new name.
He'll be the beneficiary.
The beneficiary,
That's how it is spelled out in the rule book.
This is going to be exciting on pit road because you can almost pretty much guarantee about probably 39 to 41 cars will be on there. We may have some guys stay out, try to lead a lap and get those 5 bonus points for leading here the first time by.
Well, let's see. Will anybody stay out? Yep, a couple of them will, including Kenny Schrader, who may lead this lap. Or excuse me, Kyle Petty. Just the lap down cars stay out. Steve?
The longer Jeff Gordon ran, Mike, the better he got. Just a small wedge adjustment on the 24 of Jeff Gordon. Now, Tony Stewart was saying that the right front tire has given up, and they were having some shaking problems, Dick.
Jimmy Johnson's car was incredibly good at the very beginning of that run. It got a little bit loose in the middle, and then it got better. So they haven't changed anything on that pit stop other than tires. Krista.
The Miller Lite Dodge of Kurt Busch is very good. They're making a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment in the right front and the left rear, and they are peeling off pit road.
The biggest problem I saw with that many cars on pit road, some of the leaders were finished with their pit stop trying to get out. Some guys were still getting in. Now, what that is the time on pit road, including the stop itself. You can see Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler pretty much prevailing. Tony Stewart a little bit slow on his stop.
I don't think it was so much the stop, Larry. It was getting back out on pit road and finding a clear lane to race. Jeff Gordon's team liked his stop. All right.
Just like a year ago, he's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. What a race. What a finish.
That's our DLP. Amazing moment. 6 years ago here at Atlanta, DLP, it's the mirrors. On that day, it was Kevin Harvick.
And there were no mirrors involved in that finish.
Getting set for the restart, Jeff Gordon in front of Jimmy Johnson and Elliott Sadler. At least 2 cars came in with right front tires fully worn down. Bobby Labonte and Scott Riggs. So here we go, green flag.
Tony Stewart in that 20 car, he's trying to get a jump on these boys early. He goes right to the bottom of the racetrack, bringing Kurt Busch with him. That 2 car, Roy McCauley, Kurt Busch's crew, they had a great pit stop that time, bought him a lot of positions on pit road.
If I was a Dodge guy, I'd be pretty encouraged right now by the way things are going. Compared to the way they've been racing, this looks pretty good. And boy, I don't like what I'm seeing right here at the front. Ooh, that's close coming off turn 4.
Kyle Busch in the 5 up there trying to get his lap back naturally. On lap 19 had to come to pit road where the vibration got a lap down.
Not sure I quite understand this. He's the only car 1 lap down. He would automatically get the free pass, but never mind. He wants to get out front, and that's where he is. Steve.
That caution was a big break for Tony Stewart, Mike. He said he thought he felt something shaking real bad. It might have been a loose wheel on that stop. He wanted to take a spring rubber out of the left rear spring because he said, I can't stay up on the top side of the track like I want to, but they did not have time to effect that change.
Steve, the only thing shaking now is that Tony Stewart's fans, they're fist in the air because he just took the lead away from Jeff Gordon in that 24 and driving away.
Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson fight for second, and Kurt Busch is closing in.
Just a little bit nervous when you get that close to each other. The car on the bottom, get the air all sucked off the spoiler, and got to be careful when you're racing people side by side that close.
Kurt Busch pitted 7th, came out 5th. He's now climbed to 4th. And racing for 3rd.
Didn't take Jeff long to move that baby up the hill, about 3 laps, and he's looking for some new ground.
Dale Jr. alongside Elliott Sadler.
Now, it's not unusual to run low in 3 and 4 like you saw Junior do there. Then when you get down to turns 1 and 2, run the high line. The track's a little rougher down low in 1 and 2 than it is down in 3 and 4. Those dark spots on the racetracks are dips in the track.
See, right behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., our points leader, Mark Martin, in the 01 car. He just goes by Elliott Sadler. That's the position fight right there. He goes to 6th.
Here's Steve on our point leader.
And Mike, Mark Martin had told the crew when the caution came out that the car was staying with him. And he said he was just taking it easy on that right rear tire.
Thinking man's racer.
Yeah, there's so much experience, so much knowledge, knowing how to drive a car for 500 miles. It's not just a sprint race.
Guys, the driver that won the Busch Series race yesterday, Jeff Burton, in that 31 car, started back in 32nd position. He's been steadily marching to the front. He just drove by Carl Edwards, and that was a battle for 13th. So he's been definitely moving up the field. And also, Matt Kenseth, his car good on long runs yesterday. Started back in 21st position. He's just about to get to the top 10, sitting back in 11th. Good on long runs.
And you know what? Matt Kenseth has led almost 20% of the laps run so far this year.
He's led a lap in every race, which is 5 points every time you do it. A lap.
20 bonus points.
Oh, you're doing a good job there. 60 on the leader, 70 on you.
And that's good information for a driver that's back there about 4.5 seconds behind the leader. He was telling him Tony Stewart just ran a 30-60. You just ran a 30-70. Not bad differential there.
No, and that's good information because, you know, he's probably not running at 100%. That makes him feel good knowing he's got that cushion there to work with.
Elliott Sadler is backed up into the 7th position, Dick.
Yeah, and before that round of pit stops, Mikey had told the crew that the car was really just the way he liked it. But a few laps after the pit stops, he said, whatever you did with air pressure ruined this car. And so the crew has promised him they're going to put it back to the way it was.
And, you know, just to help the fans understand, the tire is actually almost like a spring itself. It has a spring rate, and the rates can be just a little bit different, and it can totally change the way that car handles. But when these guys make air pressure adjustments, they're doing it in quarter pounds, half pounds, not 4 or 5 pounds at a time.
Well, it's basketball season, March Madness. Just put a little more air in the basketball. See how much higher it bounces. Let a little air out of the basketball and see how much lower it is.
Good analogy.
Now this is off of the 10 car. You see the cords right there. They're not blistering, but we got a report that Scott Riggs, Bobby Labonte, and Juan Pablo Montoya all had tires that were in the cord. Probably just coincidental, but those are all Dodges right there.
And that's the area they worked on, Larry, the nose of the car, trying to put more downforce on it. More downforce will create that.
Tony Stewart's going to get aggravated in a minute with this 5 car up there.
Tony Stewart and aggravated. Now, they go together, I guarantee you.
Well, I I agree with Larry's point. It's kind of meaningless. I hope it's fun for those two. But on the next caution, you know, Kyle Busch would get the free pass. He's the only car 1 lap down.
And my theory always is don't race people that can't beat you. And right now, Kyle can't beat Tony, so let him go.
You're encouraged to participate in today's Domino's Hot Lap. To play, select which of today's fastest 5 qualifiers will be the first to cross the start-finish line at lap 100. Text the letter corresponding to your selection to FOXSP, Fox SP, on any wireless phone. And you'll be entered to win the ultimate fan experience at the Michigan race in August.
Guys, I got to tell you something. There's a bunch of Clydesdales making a little noise not too far behind this little group right here. The 08 car's running in 5th spot, and he's looking pretty darn racy right now, Larry.
And his teammates still looking pretty racy, like Mike made note of earlier. Martin Truex Jr. in that 1 car sitting there in the 9th position, but he's got a friend behind him, Matt Kenseth in 17. We talked about him just steadily moving up, just chipping away.
Jimmy Johnson led the first 36 laps. Now it's Tony Stewart's turn. You're watching the Kobalt Tools 500, presented on Fox by DLP HDTV.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HDTV, is sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR and proud sponsors of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 car.
It's big, it's bad, it's victory red. Go to foxsports.com/Silverado for your drive away in his all-new 07 Chevy Silverado.
I'm liking his Monte Carlo right now, I can tell you that. That baby's coming to the front, Larry.
He is definitely doing it right now. He's running 3150. He's running 4th. Right now, our 2 guys at the front, though, they're running teens and 20s. Like Tony Stewart, his last lap was a 3126.
It's important to note that none of these cars are running as fast as they can go. Tony Stewart's race pace right now is more than 1.3 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race. That's not true for everybody. Casey Kane, for example, in 28th place.
He's really struggling back here with this car. I don't know what the problem is. See if Burns knows. What's happening, Burns?
Hey, DW, almost from the very start, Casey Kane says this car just doesn't feel right. The main problem is they are real loose from the center off. It's kind of hard to believe for a guy who won from the pole last year and led 85 laps of this race.
Well, I asked him, you know, in the pre-race show about the nose on the car. If I'd have won 6 races last year, dominated like he did, I'd have gone back in there and said, "Don't touch my car."
Let's get a little listen in to Jimmy Johnson.
15 laps here, bub. What have you got? Got the feel on the front of the car that I want. I feel like it's on the right rear and stepping out. Not that I need to be tighter. Just blowing the right rear off. 10-4. We're about 3/10 off the 20 car right now.
Car's not real loose, so you see his hands. His right hand is over the top of the wheel, which means he's turning left. See that right hand, and as he goes down the corner, checking his mirrors, that hose up on top of his helmet, that's his cool box. So he's got a pretty good tug to the left, so it might be stepping out in a spot or 2, but overall it looks pretty comfortable.
You could see him yank it back to the right just for a quick second right there. But that was Chad Knaus, his crew chief, that was talking to him. He's giving information, but he's getting information. And what he'll probably do again here in about another 15 laps is say, okay, that's 30 laps. What do you have now? Just making sure the car didn't change through the course of that run.
Also notice that
really hard loading the right rear. The right rear takes off. Other than that, it's awesome.
That's a minor adjustment. Chad can fix that. But I also noticed, Larry, that he must be right on his rev limiter, because I saw the rev limiter light come on as we were in the car with him there.
And of course, what that is
I think we're going to stick a little wedge in it, bud.
Just putting a little wedge in to tighten him up. The rev limiter, they actually have, it's an ignition system, and they can change the chip in there. And they'll normally have maybe a 94, 9500 chip in it, and that way it'll start actually cutting cylinders out when he gets to that RPM. That also tells him, hey, maybe start rolling out of it a little bit.
Next week, whole new ball game. We go short track racing 2 weeks in a row. Bristol and Martinsville, not only a whole new game, a whole new car.
Car of tomorrow, 160,000 people watching the debut of the car tomorrow.
I think last weekend maybe was much ado about nothing, but it won't be that way at Bristol. It will be much ado about a lot of things.
Here's Jeff Burton moving into the top 10 as he makes the pass on Greg Biffle's Ford.
We talked about him a while ago. Again, he started back in the 32nd position, and he's just been steadily moving up, taking care of everything. He definitely understands this is a 500-mile race. Plenty of time to get there.
Yeah, and he needs to get there. He needs to have a solid run, good finish. Cat has wrecked a lot this year.
So which of our Fast Five qualifiers did you think has the best chance of going to victory lane? Here's our singular virtual crew chief answer. Tony Stewart or Dale Jr. 30% apiece.
Mark that down, will you? That's the first pole that Dale Jr. has ever been in that I'm aware of that he didn't win by a landslide.
We invite your questions.
You know, Darrell, you were talking about a rev limiter, and something we talked about it. You guys talked about it in the pre-race. A 500-mile race, sustained RPM. Let's go back to last week at Vegas as we're riding with Jeff Burton in his 31 car. Yeah, he had an alternator wire problem, but they also broke a valve. You pretty much know all the engine guys, they're a little nervous about the 500 miles you've got to run here with these engines.
And I continue to read a little here and a little there, particularly from the Yates camp, that they're still working with this unleaded fuel. That there's still some things there that are undetermined and undecided on.
Yes, and what Doug Yates said this week, we have the valve lubrication problem settled, because that's what the lead did in the fuel, was help lubricate the valve train. He said the problem is the unleaded fuel is a lot less octane than the leaded fuel, and that's something we're going to have to get used to with different parts and pieces. No engine failures at Las Vegas. That's a good sign. And we'll continue the rest of the season running the Sunoco 260 unleaded race fuel. 5th place at stake here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. up high, and Mark Martin, the NEXTEL Cup point leader in the Army Chevy, down low. And here comes Kenseth.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 definitely has his hands full of Matt Kenseth in the 17. You know, I think Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is probably, I mean, just look how much ground Reed Sorensen in the 41 car. It's almost like Dale Earnhardt Jr. just can't get down in the corner, and then you pay the price off the corner as well.
I think it's tire wear. I think we're right in that window once again where guys would probably like to come to pit road if they could.
Tony Stewart's lead stands at 2.4 seconds. The Home Depot Chevy out in front of the Lowe's Chevrolet. Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, the top 5.
Catch me if you can.
Welcome back to Atlanta. NASCAR on Fox, and Tony Stewart leading through 76 laps, just cranking. He's finished 9th or better in 10 of his last 11 NEXTEL Cup races, and Joe Gibbs Racing has had a lot of success here with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers watching from the Hollywood Hotel. How about Dale Earnhardt Jr.? Went from 40th to 28th in points last week. He was up a little bit here. He slid back just a little bit in this race, now sliding back to 10th currently.
Well, right now, Steve, Chris, the problem you're running into is the tires are starting to wear out. They're getting far enough in this pit run, as far as this run's concerned, and it's really taking a really heavy toll on the tires. If you notice right now, Dale Jr. has been running up on the top of the racetrack, but I learned earlier this morning that a lot of the teams are saying that high groove is a little more harder on tires than normal, so I'm seeing right now going to the bottom.
All right, Steve Burns did talk to Mark Martin on our pre-race show. Mark currently running 7th. Important for him, figuring he's going to be off next week, protect that points lead. What do you think today?
I think he wants to go out on a high note. He'd like to walk out of Atlanta leading the points and kind of saying, see, I told you what I was going to do. I can still run with the big boys, but I'm going to take a little break here. And right now, he's really looking impressive. I think he's managing his tires. He's running a smart Mark Martin race right now at 7th position.
Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
A couple of unscheduled pit stops. Scott Riggs stopped for tires while we were in break. Ryan Newman, the pole sitter, who changed an engine in the pits now. But look at the lead. Tony Stewart's lead 15 laps ago was 2.7 seconds. Right now, he is no longer the leader. Jimmy Johnson scoots right on past.
And what happens is it's almost like you flip a switch. When your tires start to go off, when you start to wear them out, your car just quits handling. So whoever's got the best tires, they come to the front.
And Dick, we're about 5 to 8 laps from what would be scheduled stop for almost everyone.
Yeah, indeed, and 4 or 5 laps ago, Jimmy Johnson got on the radio and said his car is awesome at the end of a run. Well, we've also watched him at the beginning of a run. It's awesome there, too. Your leader has a great car today.
Now, I think I know why the 5 car was doing what it was doing earlier. Up there trying to get his lap back by passing the leader. He knew if we got into long green runs that the leader would start lapping other cars, and then that would take him out of the eligibility to get the free pass. That's the reason he was trying to stay out front like he is right now. That way he don't have to worry about the free pass, talking about Kyle Busch.
I don't know. You know why he stayed up there? Because he could.
There you go. He's got a good race car.
That's right.
This was 2 laps ago. Now Jimmy Johnson ran down Tony Stewart from 2.5 seconds back in 15 laps.
Smart racing. You saw his left hand come out the window and told Jimmy to go by me on the inside because it's a long way back to the cars behind those guys. So why wrestle each other early in the race and let the other guys catch up to us? That's the second time today he's done that.
Now, Kyle, Kurt Busch was a contender, and now he's on pit road under green, Krista.
And the fact that Scott Riggs pitted early, that was a huge help to this team because Riggs' pit is right in front of him. They had a clear passage this time. Kurt says he's just a little loose through 3 and 4, so they're going to go 1 round on the track bar, but he is very happy with the Miller Lite Dodge as they fill it with fuel, and there they go.
Matt Kenseth brings the DeWalt Ford in as well as we're into green flag pit stops.
Back to that Tony Stewart thing. I mean, that's what Tony expects. I'll get out of your way when you're faster than I am, and I'd like to get the same courtesy.
And that's what actually happened earlier in the race with Elliott Sadler. He called Elliott Sadler, Elliott waved him, and then Tony acknowledged thank you.
Robbie Gordon and Casey Kane.
I'd say Casey Kane was ready for this pit stop. He had his hands full.
Interesting controversy this week over Gordon's sponsor, Motorola. Motorola cellular phone equipment was going to be his sponsor. NASCAR said no, but he came back this morning and they have a digital music player that Motorola makes. That's okay. That is the sponsor on the car today.
They worked it out. Yep. There you see Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 8 car. Krista, he's on pit road.
Yes, he is, and he's the car that's been complaining of a little bit of tire wear because he's been running that high groove. They were running out a little fast. He also said he's been very tight at both ends of the track. So the Bud crew is going to loosen it up, give him 4 tires and fuel. Steve?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. leaves. Mark Martin, boy, he's smart. He's been taking care of that race car. They'll take a half round of bite out to help Mark Martin. A wipe of the grill, and Mark Martin is away. Jeff Gordon is concerned about his tires. Crew Chief Steve Letarte says, don't worry, we're going to fix you up. They made an air pressure adjustment and a chassis adjustment.
Tony Stewart gives up second place to come in. Dick?
Well, Jimmy Johnson was going to pit this time by. He was told to do so by Chad Knaus, his crew chief. Then they changed their mind and said pit next time.
Tony Stewart on pit road. He said, I'm pretty happy the car just got a little bit tight near the end of that run. I'll do a better job of saving it early. Half a pound out of the left rear tire for smoke.
Again, these are all scheduled stops, 4 tires, and I'm sure a lot of adjustments on most of these race cars.
Been watching all the boys get on pit road so far. Everybody's done a really good job of getting on pit road without having any speeding issues.
You've got to get down to 45 miles per hour after being out there racing for about 50 laps at well over 185, close to 190.
See, good thing about having an outside groove, you know, the guys give you a hand signal, they can move up and won't run over you.
Krista?
The 31 is in yesterday's Busch Series winner, looking for his first top 5 at this track since 1999. Back on lap 58, they said they are in a nice rhythm. And there they go. Dick.
And here comes Jimmy Johnson down pit road. The principal adjustment, get it full of fuel. We are seeing long green flag runs, and we've got a smaller fuel tank here, so they want to make sure they've got it all in. A minor chassis adjustment in the back of the car as the crew goes to work. They are virtually finished already. An error-free pit stop, a good pit stop.
We talked about that earlier. It's smaller than we've ever run here before. We've always run 22 gallons. This year we're running 18-gallon sales. Kevin Harvick gets those 5 bonus points. Now he'll come to pit road. You heard Todd Barrier say pit this time. We got us 5 points.
48 team looked really smooth on their stop that time, Larry, with the issues they had last week. That was a good job.
Harvick is the 5th different driver to lead this race. We've had only 1 caution for 3 laps for debris. Brian Vickers is the new leader on the left of your screen, as Kevin Harvick will get 4 tires.
And now this gives all the crews and the drivers some comfort about the tires. We made a long green run here to our pit stop window. Everything's good.
So for the most part, we had about an 8 to 10 lap window.
This time.
Heard Doug Richard calling Brian Vickers on to pit road as he gets his 5 points for leading, but about an 8 to 10 lap window that everyone pretty much made their scheduled green flag stop in.
Larry, what benefit do you get when you wait until very late in that window to come in?
Well, when you're guys like Brian Vickers, you know what? You've missed a couple of races. If you can catch a caution, boy, you'll look like a hero.
But you get 5 bonus points.
There you go.
Steve?
And Mike, Car Chief Jason Shapiro has just taken a look at the tires off the car of Tony Stewart. You can see some of the guys there in the left part of your picture. It is down to the cords in a small groove on that one tire.
But the good news right now is that was a full fuel stop right there. That was 50 to 52 laps. Just got to make sure you stay on top of that car and keep it driving good.
Yeah, and don't get carried away with some air pressure adjustments. That's the critical thing.
Now, Kurt Busch in the 2 car, he will inherit the lead. Why? Because he was one of the first cars to hit pit road. Of the leaders, he gets advantage of those fresh tires a few laps before the rest of the guys came to pit road. That's how he got the lead. We'd like to have had a caution right in the middle of these green flag pit stops.
Yeah.
I will guarantee you, because Kurt Busch's brother, I don't know if he was trying to get on pit road, trying to get by Tony Raines. This was big right here.
I think there's cars up here trying to get in front of him, and he has to try to go. There you go. Had to get around them.
Rudeman was trying to pit. Wow.
That's
Nice
about
save.
as close as you can come to wrecking and not wrecking.
Nice save.
There's Tony Raines again, this time just in front of Dale Jr.
And a big product of that was real fresh tires versus real old tires. That's how he caught him so quick.
Clint Boyer and Tony Raines battle. Kurt Busch is our leader. 93 laps in, 232 to go in the Kobalt Tools 500.
I want the cup.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HDTV, is sponsored by Singular, now the new AT&T. By FedEx, every day is race day. By Q, the heat-activated oil that helps maximize the power of your engine. Unleash all your horses. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
99 laps complete. Kurt Busch is our leader. He's the leading charger of the race then, with Reed Sorensen 5th and Montoya 14th. Now, while we were away, Matt Kenseth got the lead for a lap and then handed it back to Busch. So we've now had 8 different leaders. Let's show you how that worked.
Let's make a deal. What do you say? Former teammates. And that would be called, Larry.
5 points for lead.
I'm thinking co-opetition.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. I'll bring an apple tomorrow. Polish it up.
And
real
what
good.
allowed these guys to do that is they had a good enough lead on Jimmy Johnson, the 3rd place car, at least at that point, that they could pull it off and not mess themselves up with another car back there.
So Busch went right back to the lead. And there it is. Get the door. Congratulations to Jimmy Johnson, our Domino's Hot Lap winner. 44% of you guessed right that he would be the first of our 5 fastest qualifiers to cross the start-finish line on lap 100. All of you are entered to win the ultimate fan experience at the Michigan race this August from Domino's. Well, Kurt Busch may have the lead, but Matt Kenseth is not letting him get away. In fact, Kenseth is going right back after it.
Yeah, he chased Kurt down, so it didn't surprise me that he let him by. Maybe he sized him up, see how good he really is, and now he's going to find out for sure.
But based on that last run, and you see he's got company right there with Jimmy Johnson in the 48. The 17 car was really good on that long run the last time we had it. Looks like he's just going to move over, let Jimmy Johnson go. I caught you for a reason. I'm faster than you are. Okay, go ahead.
No, it won't be that long before we go to Darlington, and that's the famous race the racetrack, not the competition place. But isn't this race starting to take on aspects of Darlington?
Well, everybody knows how long this race is, and so you got plenty of time. Everybody's kind of managing their own car right now, and they don't need somebody aggravating them, running on their back bumper, racing them when you're still trying to figure out what you want to do to the car for the end of the race.
See the 41 car here, Reed Sorensen, and this is a home game for him because he's from Peachtree City, Georgia. And Dickie has some championships here, but they're on a little quarter mile here on the front stretch. But great run for him today.
Well, at the rate he's going, he may well go home with a championship trophy out of this day. Right now, he's running in 6th position, Sorensen is. This kid is just 21 years old, very little experience in comparison to many of the people that he is racing against, but he has been absolutely terrific today. Keeping the car in the top 10, no problems whatsoever. On the last pit stop, they made no changes to that car other than 4 tires, fuel, and sent him back out. So Sorensen driving well with a good car, the local boy.
Very good run for him as our leaders are getting into quite a bit of race traffic. Casey Mears has gone a lap down, so has Brian Vickers, Johnny Sauter, and David Gilliland just ahead of the 2 leaders. Here comes Johnson back for the lead on Busch.
Just follow up on the Ganassi cars as a whole have been running really well this year. Juan is running great, and Stremmy's had some good runs, and now we got Sorensen up here. So those cars have been pretty good this year.
Good on qualifying day and pretty good in the race as well.
Jimmy Johnson makes the 11th lead change of the day.
Speaking of the Ganassi cars, here's Juan Pablo Montoya, finished 8th yesterday in the Busch Series race. Now, he started in 16th. Now, on that first pit stop we had under caution, he actually had a tire that was in the cords. He fell all the way back to about 22nd on the restart, and here he's up there back in the top 15 and 13th. And I watched him on that green flag pit stop because I talked to his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, on Friday. He said, Larry, one of our Achilles heel has been getting him acclimated to what goes on pit road and pit stops. I watched him. He had a picture perfect stop right in his box. Everything was good, and here he is in the top 15 with his 42 car.
And you would think a guy that's won Formula One races, he said yesterday's 8th place finish was one of his greatest accomplishments.
31:45.
Speaking of Darlington, he went and ran a few laps at Darlington the other day. He had one comment: darndest place I've ever seen.
Wait till he gets all of his buddies there with him.
All 42 of them, right?
Jimmy Johnson back out in front. 109 laps completed as we have a look at the Kobalt fan experience here in Atlanta.
Hope you're enjoying NASCAR and Fox from Atlanta. Our DLP Ultimate Picture Cam helping to provide a pretty good view. 8 leaders, 11 lead changes. We're on a record pace with an average speed of just under 165 miles per hour. And Jimmy Johnson leading for the 3rd time. Jeff Hammond, though, back in the 25th, 26th spot. Casey Kane and Ryan Newman going at it.
Yeah, they're going at it. And the reason why is because that 48 car, he is sitting at blistering pace right now, Chris. I mean, he is this mowing through this field. And right now, the big battle between our pole setter, Ryan Newman, who had engine problems early on, and the number 9, Casey Kane, who happens to be outside of the top 35, which is so important. We talk about at the beginning of this race today, guys who needed to score points. Well, this 9 car needs to turn things around here before the end of the day and get some points. Otherwise, when he rolls into Bristol, he may be in trouble.
Kane has failed to finish the last 2 races. In fact, 4 DNFs in his last 7 Cup races. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. 208 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson is your race leader, coming up on some traffic here, including the pole sitter Newman and the 22 of Blaney. That'll knock Johnson's lead for 3.3 seconds off a bit, but there's a new third-place car, and it's Matt Kenseth, who has gone past Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch. Matt has 4.
I just don't want to start going crazy on science and start sliding all over the place. Let's do the quarter turn into right rear this time and just see if it helps.
Finished 4th here last 4. Steve, he's got 4 top 5s here at Atlanta.
Yeah, he gets around this place well, Mike Joy, and you just heard him talking to Chip Bolin. What he's explaining is he says his car has gotten tighter off of turn 4, but looser off of turn 2. Those are the characteristics he wants fixed.
That makes sense. Turn 2 is a much sharper exit. Turn 4 is a much more sweeping exit. So the car can have 2 totally different characteristics on each end of the speedway.
Now look at Kurt Busch in that 2 car right there. He has lost a couple of positions over the last few laps. Now he was one of the first cars to hit pit road a while ago under those green flag stops. That's how he got the lead. He's fallen back just a little bit. One reason we got to report that he is feeling a little bit of vibration. We're probably about 8 to 12 laps away from that 2 car, as long with his teammate Ryan Newman, the 12, the pole sitter, hitting pit road. They were the first cars to pit a while ago.
Busch way up high. Left of your screen, Bobby Labonte in the Cheerios 43 has already made another pit stop. He did that while we were in commercial. And Labonte, who led 18 laps here last year before the engine let go, has not been able to find the handle on this race car today.
He was one of those cars back on lap 37 that had one of the right side tires in the cord. You know, I want to give a call to a team and to a driver that came here. They had not made a race this year. They had missed the first 3 races. They went out there, go or go home on Friday night. They qualified 9th. When they made their pit stop on lap 37, that's the only stop that group had made since the dual 150s in Daytona. He's still on the lead lap, outrunning cars like Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin. He's about to go a lap down, but you know what? A good run, just making the show here for Mike Bliss and that team.
Jimmy Johnson 4.5 seconds up on Tony Stewart. And the Childress cars, Burton and Boyer, running 7th and 8th. Harvick back in 16th. And there's Boyer in the DirecTV colors this week. Dick?
Well, Boyer started in the 15th spot, Mike. He has drifted back to the 8th position. And after the last pit stop, he told the crew that the car was just perfect, absolutely wonderful. More recently, he said the car has picked up a vibration. He asked about the condition of his tires after the last pit stop. They were just perfect, but he does have a vibration and is anxious for the next pit stop to find out what it's all about.
When tires wear, they don't necessarily wear evenly. And so that's where that vibration thing comes from. It's almost like if you're on your street car, you've ever noticed how your tires will get warped up a little bit and they'll get that thump, 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 thump feeling sometimes? That's what these race tires do.
And the only cure is the same as it is on your street car. Go get your 4 new ones. Here comes Kyle Busch at you slideways. Watch the number 5.
You don't have a problem doing that at all.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HD TV, is sponsored by Ford F-Series. Built for bold moves, built Ford tough. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. By Lipitor. And by the new KFC Variety Big Box. Why pick one favorite when you can have them all?
Welcome back to Atlanta. 129 laps complete. Your Napa race summary. 11 lead changes among 8 different leaders. Only 1 caution flag. That was for debris. And as we start this round of pit stops, 18 cars on the lead lap. Kurt Busch has already stopped. So is Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards, Tony Raines, and David Rudiman. Ricky Rudd in the pit lane right now, along with Elliott Sadler. Jimmy Johnson continues to lead Tony Stewart, now by 6.3 seconds. Jeff Gordon, Reed Sorensen, Matt Kenseth, your top 5. And here comes Gordon around Stewart, 2nd place.
Clint Boyer, one of our top 10 cars in the 07, he was one of the first guys to hit pit road. We did get the report that everything looked good on his tire wear. Again, these are all scheduled stops, Steve Burns.
Larry, Matt Kenseth in. He said he's been sliding the right front. They make a small chassis adjustment, quarter turn in the right rear. They have also made air pressure adjustments to both of Matt Kenseth's front tires.
Kenny Schrader's been in. Kyle Petty. The NTV Dodge has made its stop, and here comes David Stremme in. That silver car is Stremme's Dodge.
It's such a fine line. You know, you want to get the pit road, you want to get those 4 fresh tires, but you just know we've been under green since lap 37, going on 100 laps. You just know we could get a caution any second now.
But this is my kind of racing. When I hit pit road, I'm out of fuel and I'm out of tires.
There you go.
The leader is in, Jimmy Johnson, as David Gilliland completes his stop, and Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart coming in right with him, and they almost got together at the entrance to pit road. Dick?
Johnson's car a little bit free, and once again Chad Knaus has passed notes to his crew members as to what to do on the car, so we could not eavesdrop and tell you precisely what it is, but they did have the wrench in the back and 4 tires into Steve.
Jeff Gordon on pit road in the 24 car. He said his car really came around well on that run. Tony Stewart said his car got a little bit tighter on that run.
11 cars in the pit lane right now.
I know what Chad sent that note to all his crew members. Don't mess up.
Krista.
The 31 of Jeff Burton also in. He had the same problem he had last time, a little bit loose in the corners. No reason to believe he has a tire problem, guys. This one was for fuel. Dick.
Sorensen is in as well. No wrenches in the back of this car, which has performed absolutely flawlessly today. Sorensen just now got the car in the gear he was looking for. Just went clunk when he did it. Good stop by the crew.
And Dick, he led a lap before he came on to pit road. Since this is his home race, that's got to be a boost. Dave Blaney cycles into the lead. Vickers on the first round of green flag stops, and now Blaney are the first Toyotas to lead a points race in Nextel Cup.
These cars, they look so weird when they're coming down pit road. The nose all jacked up in the air. They don't stay that way long, though.
So Blaney is right now our Toyota top performer. He will give up the lead. 13th lead change of the day as Blaney comes down the pit lane in the Cat Camry.
Dave Blaney, he's just wanting to see a checkered flag. DNFs in the first 3 races of 2007. There you see Brian Vickers, who led earlier when we cycled through the green flag stops. He's going to lead again here, and I'm sure he'll beat a pit road here in the next lap or 2. You can see how much better those fresh tires, and Bobby Labonte actually doesn't have that fresher tires because he hit pit road about 15 to 20 laps ago. You can see what a gap he opens up, though.
Paul Menard has been in. Jeff Green now coming to the pit lane as we complete the cycle of green flag stops. Once again, Vickers will be the last driver on the lead lap to stop.
I believe, you know, if Toyota can get some, they need their cars to be in some races so they can get some feedback. With just a couple of cars in the race every week, it's hard to get anything, make any progress.
You know, I had a fan ask me this week, and it's actually a really good question. How come they can be so strong in the Truck Series, fairly strong in the Busch Series, but struggling in the Nextel Cup? The competition won in Nextel Cup, but the big factor I think that exists is they are not allowed to run the same engine combination in Nextel Cup that they run in the Truck Series and the Busch Series. A whole new different engine package that NASCAR made them come up with.
Yeah, in the Busch and the truck, you run a 390 carburetor, which is a little bit different package than we run here on in the Cup cars.
It all cycles back around. Jimmy Johnson is once again the race leader.
Bristol, Tennessee. This place brings out the best in guys.
Harvick wins the Food City 500.
This place brings out the worst in guys.
He's about the most impatient thing. I'll be waiting when he comes in here.
Even your closest friends aren't so friendly here at the fastest half mile.
Jeff Gordon out of his car, and he's not happy with Matt Kenseth.
You have to control your anger.
I don't know why he would be running into me after the race. Because he don't pay attention, he don't know what he's doing. He tried to run me into pit wall, so I hit him back.
That's just Bristol, baby. That's just Bristol.
Next stop, Bristol. Next week with the car of tomorrow becomes the car of today. However, today at Atlanta, the second caution flag is waved. A piece of debris on the back straightaway puts us under caution after pit stops had completely cycled through. So what do they do now, Dick Berggren?
Well, Jimmy Johnson said that his car starts a bit loose on a run, and then it comes to him a little bit better, but he also said it leans on the right rear, so they're going to fix it with air pressure. Steve.
Jeff Gordon said the exact same thing. Dick Berggren, starts loose, comes to me. If you can't give me any more grip, don't do a thing. Krista.
Yeah, it was a vibration because of a bad set of tires for Kurt Busch. More adjustments coming. Look for a track bar adjustment for Kurt Busch.
All the lead lap cars come to pit road. Bobby Labonte will get the free pass on this, the second caution flag of the day.
About all 21 or 22 lead lap cars, they will be in regardless of just having the green flag stop a few laps ago. This will be 4 tires for everybody, full of fuel. What 24 car had a good pit stop, 17 had a good stop, but it's like Jimmy Johnson, the 48 group, Chad Knaus, they'll probably win this battle off pit road.
And the fellow who's going backwards is Tony Stewart. Now, the last time down pit road under green, Stewart got blocked a little coming out of his pit and lost 3 spots, and it looks like he's going to give up a few more on this exchange.
And even under those green flag stops, there you see Chad Knaus, pretty proud of what those boys are doing on pit road. Let's go back to that pit stop a while ago, Tony Stewart. This was under green just a few laps ago. If you'll remember, he came in almost right with Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. Once they completed their pit stop, that's when things got pretty exciting down there. You can see they'll drop the left side, and there you see Gordon going by him. But here, Jamie McMurray in the 26 actually coming into pit road. In that little, he wasn't sure what Jamie was going to do there, and you can see Gordon just stretching it out. And by the time they got onto the racetrack up to speed, it ended up being 2 seconds behind him.
Well, let me ask you something. If you've had 2 speeding penalties in 2 previous races already this year, and a problem in the Busch race yesterday, coming on pit road a little early, I'd be a little cautious in the pits if I were he.
A little conservative, especially with as good a car as he's got. What do we say? Don't beat yourself.
We had a lug nut fall off the left rear.
That was Greg Zipadelli, and that's why Stewart came into the pits in 5th place and came out of the pits in 17th.
But the good news is they stayed there till they rectified that problem. Otherwise, he'd be back in at the tail end.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus had much more conversation about the behavior of the car after the pit stop than before the pit stop. And Jimmy said that the car goes along just great, and then all of a sudden it just starts to lean on the right rear. Chad said that he has been working to try to fix that, and they're going to try to do more dramatic adjustments the next time. Steve.
Matt Kenseth says, I'm having a tough time on the first couple of laps after a restart, but after that, it turns pretty good and is close to neutral. The tires are really following the steering wheel. I like it. Krista.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been losing grip in both ends of the track. They made some air pressure adjustments. The car still just a little bit tight for Dale Jr.
Jimmy Johnson, your leader under this second caution flag of the day. He has led 5 times for 78 laps. Jimmy's only led more than 30 laps once in 11 Atlanta starts, but he has 5 top 4 finishes here in the last 7 races.
Well, one thing I can promise you, he's sitting out there leading this race, but there's some guys back there behind him that are working on their cars so they can be up there racing with him at the end.
.146 complete, 179 to go.
You know, a pretty good move by Doug Richard, the crew chief for Brian Vickers on the 83 car. Remember, a while ago, he was one of those cars that was the last to make the green flag stop. He actually had just made his green flag stop. So what they elected to do with no more laps on their tires other than just almost getting up to speed is they're going to stay out there and try to get that lap back by being the first car lap down or by going by the leader.
Yeah, theoretically, he's on the tail end of the lead lap until they drop the green flag.
Getting set for this restart. Counting Vickers, that's 24 cars on the lead lap.
And he could be up in front of Jimmy Johnson if he elected to be. That wouldn't be very gentlemanly-like, and Brian's a pretty good guy, so he takes the inside route.
Of course, that's a teammate for Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon had a little encounter at the last Talladega race last fall. But I think he knows he doesn't have near the car that Jimmy Johnson in the 48 has. What do you think, guys? It's about that time, isn't it?
Grab that volume knob.
Crank it up. to check your dishes in the china cabinet. That's what over 36,000 horsepower sounds like right there.
Dale Jr. is 7th. Tell you, the big action is back in mid-pack where Jeff Burton and Tony Stewart are trying to claw their way up through the field. There's Burton on the inside behind Montoya. And there's Stewart, who has just passed Mike Bliss and keeps coming. A hung lug nut on the pit stop for Stewart. Put him back there. See if he can rebound. See if Burton can get back to the front.
This is when you have max grip. So this is when you got to make all your big moves.
But it's amazing, you know, when Jeff and I were working on pit road, you could hang a lug nut, lose a lug nut. You might lose 2 or 3 positions. You do it now, you're going to lose 15 to 20 on pit road, as competitive as it is with these guys.
Stewart passes his teammate. You're riding with Denny Hamlin right now in the FedEx Chevy.
Denny 1 lap down, back in the 28th position.
3rd place, Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer. Matt Kenseth has moved to 2nd.
That 07 car of Clint Boyer, I think they've just been making that car a little better each stop. Remember, he was one of the earlier cars to hit pit road under that last rash of green flag pit stops, but fortunately it cycled through for him.
Yeah, he's got to get to the end of the race and not back her in the fence. He just seemed like he's had a little problem with that, but the car's been fast enough to win, actually.
He's made a bunch of laps here this weekend. He ran the truck race Friday night, the Busch race yesterday, the Nextel Cup race today.
Here's Stewart and Burton together. Racing for 10th. Krista?
31 of Jeff Burton kind of all over the spectrum today. Earlier he was loose, free getting in the corners on that last stop on lap 144. They tightened it up. Now he's talking about being loose again, and we want to kind of pay off something we were talking about. He's one of the few teams who really is not having the tire wear that some of the other teams are having. They were in their fuel window on that last stop. Had the caution not come out, they could have stayed out on those tires, but they were running low on fuel, so they came back in. But yeah, they're getting loose once again.
As that happens, Matt Kenseth has gone to the lead, and Jimmy Johnson just pulled over and waved him on by.
I think he saw that Matt Kenseth looked like he wanted to push the envelope right now, and we're not quite halfway. Still a long way to go and a bunch of pit stops to make.
Darrell, is it hard to size up another driver when he's in your mirror, or do you have a better chance if you let him go to see what he's got?
Well, a lot of times you know how hard you're trying at that point. Guy catches you, you figure, what the heck, I got plenty left, let him go. Oh, I tell you, that 48 backed out of the throttle way early.
And they had plenty of cushion behind them back to Jeff Gordon, where, you know, Jimmy knew he was not going to lose another position by doing that. Jeff Gordon in the 24 back in 3rd.
Did you see all the fire, though, fly out of the exhaust of that thing?
That means he was off the throttle.
Way off of it. He didn't just pull over, he just fired.
Tony Stewart restarted 15th. He's climbed up to 10th. He and Burton single file behind Montoya. Matt Kenseth is your leader. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer.
You gotta want it.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HD TV, is sponsored by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. Welcome back to Atlanta. In case you tuned in a little bit late, Ryan Newman started on the pole, but then to the back of the pack with engine problems. He's currently 25th, so Elliott Sadler and Casey Kane trying to work their way to the front. Some pit problems early for Kyle Busch.
You had to make an unscheduled stop right there about 19 laps into the race, and come to find out that somebody didn't tighten the wheels up when it came to inspection. I'm sure somebody got to get their tail chewed out about that.
Tony Stewart moving ahead of Jeff Gordon. Stewart leading 38 laps in this race. Gordon's led 4. Jimmy Johnson has led the most at 87 laps. Moments ago, Matt Kenseth moving in front. And the Roush Fenway Ford to move ahead of Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Your top 5 of that move by Kenseth, your 4th bold move of the race. And so far, so good in terms of hanging in there for all the drivers in this race.
Yes, so far right now, Chris, believe it or not, we're coming up here on halfway point. We still got all 43 cars on the racetrack.
11 leaders, 18 lead changes already, only a couple of cautions here. And we just had another lead change now.
48 car back
Jimmy
out front,
Johnson.
but look at Jeff Gordon right there sweeping to the outside of Matt Kenseth to take over second place. We saw this last week at Las Vegas when Jimmy Johnson held off his teammate to win. So right now Hendrick 1-2 once again.
160 laps to go at one of the fastest places on earth. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Johnson, Kenseth, Gordon, Clint Boyer a solid fourth, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in fifth, all within sight of the leader. Carl Edwards in sixth, Kurt Busch in seventh, and Juan Pablo Montoya, seven-time Formula One winner, running in eighth. I wonder if he's ever met Harry Gant, and I ask that because in turns 3 and 4 he's running what we always called the Harry Gant groove, right up against the wall, close enough to take the paint off it.
High, wide, and handsome. That was Harry. Handsome Harry Gant, Taylorsville, North Carolina.
Now we got Jeff Gordon, a 24 car. These guys just keep swapping the lead up there. He's going to go back to the front of the pack in front of his teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
That'll be the second time that Gordon has led today. Now here's Montoya moving up on Kurt Busch. This is a battle for 7th place. Let's take a closer look at Juan Pablo Montoya.
Hey, my name is Juan Pablo Montoya from Bogota, Colombia. I'm racing the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Series with the 42 Texaco Javelin Dodge. But I'm considered as a rookie, and I have a lot of experience, but my main goal is not to try to win the Rookie of the Year, it's try to go for the championship. I've won many big races. I won the Indy 500, the Car Championship, Monaco Grand Prix, 24 Hours at Daytona. Now we'll try to go for the big one, the Daytona 500. One of my hobbies in my time off is snowboarding. I really enjoy it. You know, when things are going smooth and you're completely under control, it's a lot of fun. It's like driving a car. When things are right, you're on it, but when things go wrong, it goes really, really bad, really fast.
Right now it's going really good, really fast for Montoya. He's kind of settled there in 8th place, 6 seconds off the lead.
You know, we sat down with Juan, the three of us did about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and pretty much asked him, why would you leave a 17 or 18 race schedule to come run a 36 race NEXTEL Cup schedule? Plus, remember, he's running several Busch races. He said, hey, I love the race, but he said, I like how the schedule is here. You go home Monday through Thursday, you come race Friday through Sunday, and he said, you know what, all the testing I did with Formula One, I just seem to go to racetrack racing and make a little money while I'm doing it.
Another good reason he's having a good time is his wife is very happy about being in this sport. She likes the camaraderie of being with the other wives, and that was something they didn't have in Formula One. Kind of kept to yourself and did your own thing.
I'm just looking right behind these two cars right here, back there at Matt Kenseth, the 17. He has company with Clint Boyer now in that 07 car. Just seems like this 07, we talked about him a while ago, he just keeps getting a little better and a little better. Right now, he's about the closest thing to our leader, Jeff Gordon, as far as the stopwatch.
Yeah, and right behind him is Junior, and boy, they really they got off on that last sequence, but they've dialed that car back in, and here he comes right behind Clint. So those guys are hanging in there pretty tough right now.
Not really surprised to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. running that well here. He's had top 5 finishes in his last 3 races, and he's been running good all year long. I know he doesn't have the finishes to go with it. He had the pit road miscue last week at Fontana, finished 11th, which was his best finish this year. Go back to Fontana. He had a good car there, and the engine let go on.
And right behind Dale Jr. is a guy that I know loves this joint. That guy right there, and he's looking to turn his year around and get going in the right direction. And he's doing a good job of today. He's sitting here running pretty good.
Cousin Carl,
so we can keep working on it, bud.
Crew Chief Bob Osborne, Cousin Carl, and he didn't give us a lot lately to talk about, so we can talk about him today.
No backflips.
Jeff Gordon has now led 11 laps of this race.
And you know what? I just heard Bob Osborne, and I think that's the key right there. I heard a little pep in his step, if you will. I heard a little enthusiasm in his voice as he talked to Carl right there. I think that's a big plus.
As we mentioned, leaving Las Vegas, Jeff Gordon, the last time that he started the season with 3 top 10 finishes, he won the championship. That was 1997, Steve, and he's done it again.
Mike, you guys were talking earlier about how well Jeff Gordon adapts to a racetrack and its changing conditions. Just a moment ago, he told Steve Letarte, this is the loosest I've been, but it's hanging in there. We're going to be real good here.
Past the halfway point at one of NASCAR's fastest speedways, Jeff Gordon leads the Kobalt Tools 500 on Fox. Welcome back to Atlanta, where Jeff Gordon has now led twice for 18 laps. He's led over 1,000 laps here, more than all active drivers. I say active because Cale Yarborough has led more than 3,000 laps here in 33 starts. Now Gordon's lead over Jimmy Johnson just half a second, but back at 7th place, Kurt Busch, 5.5 seconds off the lead, has been having quite a battle with Juan Pablo Montoya. Krista?
And it was a very scary moment down on this pit about 15, 20 laps ago. Kurt came on the radio and said he had lost power down the backstretch. Turns out they had trash on the grill. The water started overheating. All the guys jumped up on the wall. They thought they'd have to come in. It was very tense, very crucial for a few laps. Then the water finally started going down. Everyone was on the edge of their toes. It started dropping to 240. Then they were fine. Now they're running times as fast, if not faster, than the leader. They are planning on making no adjustments on their next stop.
Christy, he had debris on the nose, but right now he has Juan Pablo Montoya on his back. Now let's update Kurt Busch's brother, Kyle Busch, in the 5. Remember, looked like he had a car that he was going to drive off into the sunset when the race started. Remember, Jeff Hammond talked about the problem. He had to pit on lap 19 with a loose wheel. Well, when he was 1 lap down, when he made his green flag stop on 133 right before that last caution, they couldn't get the jack under the car, and actually the car fell off the jack. He went another lap down, so now he is back there in 37th position, 2 laps down. So it's went from bad to worse for this 5 car.
Well, bad pit stop yesterday, Larry, cost him that Busch race.
43 cars started this race. All of them are still running. And 22 of them are on the lead lap. We expect pit stops in another dozen laps or so, with Jeff Gordon leading Jimmy Johnson by half a second in Atlanta.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HD TV, is sponsored by Toyota. Moving forward. By the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. By NEXTEL, only from Sprint, helping NASCAR NEXTEL Cup fans get more done. And by Domino's Double Zero Deal, the official pizza of NASCAR.
190 laps complete. Green flag stops have started. Sterling Marlin has been in. So has Casey Mears. Here comes Elliott Sadler, along with Martin Truex, Ricky Rudd, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Krista?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. says his car has been getting just a little bit tight, but he is very happy with it. In fact, just a few laps ago, he had come on the radio and told his crew they have done a great job in the adjustments. His car is really good right now.
I think it's safe to say within the next 4 to 5 laps we'll see all of our lead lap cars, because we're getting right near that 50 to 52 lap mark as Kevin Harvick in the 29 hit pit road. Scott Riggs coming in, Mike Bliss, Jamie McMurray. All these are scheduled stops. Here comes Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car.
So second place car on pit road as Jeff Gordon continues to lap the track. Kyle Petty is in as well. These are scheduled green flag stops. Dick?
Well, Chris Anderson and the rest of the number 48 crew have had a terrific day today, Mike. There have been absolutely wonderful pit stops, adjusting a car that has been very close to perfection. They are making minor air pressure adjustments now on virtually every stop, trying to get the car to the point that is incredibly good. It's almost there right now.
Tony.
Here comes his teammate Jeff Gordon in the 24 on pit road.
Steve.
And Jeff Gordon has pinpointed his race car, Mike. He said his car is good, just a little bit loose in the middle of 1 and 2 on that 24 car. Taking a little bit longer than normal on the right front. They are having a problem up there now. Krista.
No changes planned for the number 2. As we said, he has been very happy. Once that trash came off the grill, they are running quick lap times. He is extremely happy with this car, and this team needs a bout of good luck. They've had a great car, but some bad runs. To Steve.
Krista, you see Tony Stewart hitting pit road in that orange number 20. He just told crew chief Greg Zipadelli, my car is rolling the bottom in turns 3 and 4 better than anyone around me. He won this race in the fall. They go to the driver's side of the car. Tony Stewart's service is done, and he is heading down pit road.
Tony picked up the lead for the second time today as we started to cycle through pit stops.
2 cars that had awfully good green flag stops. Montoya in the 42 car, Donnie Wingo in that group had a great stop, as well as Carl Edwards, Bob Osborne in that 99 group. Looks like they may have gained some positions through this cycle of green flag stops.
Pretty disastrous for the 24 though, Larry. They had a huge problem with the right front.
Yep.
Rudeman's in, Yaley, Schrader. And let's see what the problem was with Jeff Gordon's pit stop. Watch the right front.
Can't get the thing on. It's hanging in the fender. And you know, that's interesting, Larry, because we see a little puff of smoke come out of that right front every now and then. They've got that fender so tight they can't get the tire on and off.
It's never a problem on the left front because you have a lot of left front fender on it to help the car turn, but you can see it smoking there. And again, remember, he's on low air pressure, and right now he's got a battle on his hands with Montoya in the 42 car. This is a battle for 7th right here. Kurt Busch in the 2 up there in the 6th position.
When Jeff Gordon pitted, he was the race leader. That small mistake put him in 7th place, 9.5 seconds behind.
And we're getting to a point where you can't afford.
Buddy. We're going to get it back for you, man. Just keep after it.
Steve Letarte being a cheerleader there. We're getting to a point where you're going to have to be mistake-free on pit road, because if it keeps this green flag look, we're down to the point where 2 more stops will get you to the end of this 500-miler.
Well, here's a little chink in the armor right here. The sun's starting to go down now. Turns 1 and 2 are starting to become shaded. Now all of a sudden, some of those adjustments you made, tightening up, you may have to back off of when you get near the end. And you can see a big discussion right here about what happened on the pit stop with the 24 car. Watch the track down here on turns 1 and 2. What's the shaded area?
Now Montoya passed Jeff Gordon that lap, Darrell. That moves Montoya's Dodge up into 7th place.
Juan's car looks really good. I've been watching it, rides the bumps really well.
and he's running about 1.75 miles per 1.5 mile lap, because he's at the top side both ends of the racetrack.
You know, when he and Jeff Gordon traded cars at Indy a couple of years ago, that really perked his interest in these stock cars. He couldn't believe how comfortable he was driving that stock car around the road course in Indianapolis.
Put an idea in his head, didn't it?
It got him thinking. I believe it did.
Dale Jarrett's disappointing season continues. He's had to get into the race on the Champions Provisional each of 4 weeks. And now he's had to serve a pass-through penalty for being too fast down pit road. Jarrett has served the penalty. And as serving the penalty, he was too fast down pit road.
I've seen this
again.
The same thing happened to him at this racetrack about 2 years ago.
I've seen this act before.
But you know, back to Montoya, this is only his 5th Nextel Cup start in that 42 car. Boy, close call for Jimmy Johnson there in the 48, trying to split Kenny Schrader in the 21 and Yaley in the 18.
Well, Yaley gets the thing up underneath of Jimmy coming off turn 4 there. The 83 car was in the way, and that got a little touchy. 21 car on the outside, got the 83 right here in the front, and you see JJ. I don't think Jimmy Johnson, JJ, didn't know that JJ Yaley was there.
And JJ Yaley fighting to stay on the lead lap right now, sitting back there in the 22nd position in the 18 car.
Dale Jarrett has just come very slowly down pit road to serve the penalty for his penalty pass.
And it was much slower than 45 miles per hour, much slower.
Very safe. We're 124 laps away from seeing who gets the trophy for the Kobalt Tools 500. Here's a look at it being prepared. Welcome back to Atlanta. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip, where Jimmie Johnson leads Clint Boyer by 1.5 seconds. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in third, 5.5 seconds off the lead. Then Carl Edwards dropping to fifth at the hands of Tony Stewart, who climbs into fourth, and Stewart is going for third. Stewart had a bad pit stop, fell back as far as 15th, but he has marched his way through the field. Now fighting for third.
And this is exactly how he marched through the field when they dropped the green flag. Started back in 13th position. It didn't take him long to get up there and get the lead, and he just slides up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 8 car.
Stewart led from lap 42 to lap 79. Jimmie Johnson just continues to lap this track at a very consistent 31.5 seconds or so. Let's take a minute, go down to Jeff Hammond for today's State Farm Safety Report.
So much is always put on as far as safety in these race cars concerned, the cockpit area. And with sometimes one part we kind of take for granted has to be the window net. The window net is very important to the safety of the driver. Not only does it keep his hands and arms and his head from coming out of the car, but it also keeps objects from flying in the car and possibly hitting the driver. Take that window net down, and you can see there's another net on the driver's side that helps protect the head from getting into the wall. It also helps to support the top part of the seat. As far as the right side of the car, you'll also see there's a third net that helps to give a little bit more support, not only to the top part of the seat, but also keep the driver's arms as well as his head from getting further to the right side of the car in the event of a heavy impact. Things we may take for granted, but have definitely made this race car a lot safer.
NASCAR first mandated window nets over 30 years ago after a Richard Petty rollover crash. Looking at the photos, they said we need to keep the driver inside the car. The first nets were stringy. They were like the netting of a basketball goal. And now they're big and wide and substantial.
Well, we learned how to use them for other things other than just keeping the driver safe. There are some aerodynamic advantages to closing that hole up.
Keep the driver in, keep the air out.
Roger.
Right. How about Juan Pablo Montoya as he puts it past Dale Earnhardt Jr. and climbs up into the top 5.
You know, when they announced back in August, Chip Ganassi, Felix Sabates announced that he was going to drive this 42 car, obviously it got a lot of media attention. Juan told us, he said he has been just totally flabbergasted with the amount of media attention that he has drawn, and it even escalated, of course, 2 or 3 weeks ago when he won the Busch Series race in Mexico.
Yeah, remember he said they don't socialize in Formula One.
No.
Drivers are isolated. You don't even talk to your crew. You sit over in the corner and wait for them to tell you to get in the car. And when you're done practicing, you leave. You don't talk to anybody.
The other thing that's big is here, he says veteran drivers have come over and said, you're doing this, try this. In Formula One, you'd just tell that to your crew chief or your team engineer and you'd both laugh about it. You would never go over and help another driver. It's pretty different. Jimmie Johnson is your race leader as he comes up on the number 11 of Denny Hamlin. 2 laps back. There is the gap back to Clint Boyer in second place in the Richard Childress DirecTV Chevy. Dick?
And Boyer is having a terrific day. I'll remind fans at home that Clint Boyer has never won an NEXTEL Cup race. He has finished as high as 3rd and is having a terrific run today. His crew chief, Gil Martin, how about it? Can you dial that car in to get yourself to victory lane today?
Dick, this, I was listening to Clint. This NASCAR DirecTV Jack Daniel Chevrolet has been spot on today right here. I mean, I'm really happy with what the guys are doing in the pits. He's doing a great job on the track. All the laps he's gotten this weekend with the truck and the Busch car have really come into play today. And we've got a setup that's really good on the long run, so these green flag runs are just where we want them.
All right, Boyer, a very busy driver this weekend. He has run all 3 divisions here at Atlanta, Mike.
Gil Martin is from Nashville. He is Bobby Hamilton was, that's where I first heard about Gil, working over at the fairgrounds, working with Bobby, and has now gone to work down there with the Childress and doing a great job.
he was with Clint when he spent some time in the Busch Series, and Richard said the chemistry's there. Let me move these guys together to the NEXTEL Cup.
He was with Kenny Wallace. Remember when I think he drove for Filbert Matassi in the Busch Series, and Gil was the crew chief on that car. And it's been around a while, and it's really starting to pay off. Woo. What's going on there?
Well, Scott Riggs has dropped a cylinder.
We talked about it, 500 miles, and we're well past the halfway mark, about 3/5 the way through this race, and right now we have our first victim to probably sustained RPM, the 10 car, Scott Riggs. He is down a cylinder.
One of the things you're seeing with the unleaded fuel, and I'm not picking on unleaded fuel, don't get me wrong, but is valve deterioration, the valve seats and the valves themselves. So there's still some work to be done there in the opinion of some of the engine builders.
107 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson's lead over Clint Boyer now 2 seconds.
Pop quiz. Who's older? You, Sterling Marlin, or Dirt? Where'd you get the t-shirt, man? T-shirt? Oh, it's for you. Gymnast? Mr. Backflip?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Living the dream.
Excuse me, I think I'm living the dream.
You know what last year was for you? What's that? A fluke. You know what's getting ready to happen to you? What? You're gonna get your ass whipped. We'll see about that.
The Kobalt Tools 500 presented by DLP HD TV is sponsored by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR.
UPS delivers the chance to manage your own free fantasy auto racing league. Go to foxsports.com. We are under caution for the 3rd time. There's the cleanup truck up in turn number 3 where Scott Riggs' engine let go.
And it'll be feeding time for about 19 cars, all cars on the lead lap. Pretty timely stop.
You guys get me, and we'll talk about your car. He's starting to smoke. He never did that before. Stay away from him. He's blowing up.
Good advice from the spotter, and that's what brought out the caution. Let's go to pit road.
Johnson pits out of the lead right now. It's something we haven't heard all day. The car is darting, going over the bumps in the corners and a little bit loose. Steve.
Tony Stewart said his car is just a little bit too free in the center. They're going to reverse a track bar adjustment they made earlier. Krista.
Dale Jr. losing the handling a little bit on his Budweiser Chevrolet. Loose on entry, tight in the middle. They're going back to the air pressure adjustment they had last time.
And what they've decided to do here with 101 laps to go, they're actually going to work on that right front crush panel on the 24 car. You can see them. They actually have it out right there, and they're reinstalling it. It's what separates the body from the firewall and seals the cockpit. That way, Jeff Gordon will not get fumes in that race car and no more problems, considering we may have a one-stop race on that last pit stop. You can see where they've taped that aluminum crush panel back in place. I talked about mistakes on pit road. The 2-car speeding Kurt Busch.
The timing is done electronically, and there is a fudge factor of 5 miles an hour built into the program. But when the computerized timing loops get you, they got you, and Kurt Busch will make a pass through. Welcome back to the Kobalt Tools 500, presented on Fox by DLP HD TV. As we restart with 98 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson in front of Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, and Dale Jr.
Now, all those little courtesy hand signals, you go, I'll go, you go, I'll go, they're starting to run out of patience. And those are going to go away now.
The reason they're running out of laps.
That's right. All of a sudden, it won't be so Mr. Nice Guy.
But I think the guy that really wanted this caution, Tony Stewart in that 20 car right there, remember he got behind because of a problem on the pit stop. He definitely needed it to get caught up, and he's right up there battling these guys for second.
Now, Jimmy Johnson did not get a great restart. You saw that both Denny Hamlin and Robbie Gordon got out in front of him on this restart.
Real easy to spin the tires here on the restarts. That's probably what he spun the tires a tad.
Now, Johnson is still the leader. Hamlin is a lap and distance down, and so is Robbie Gordon. Montoya on the tail of Casey Mears, who's also not on the lead lap, and then Kenseth right there.
Boy, and Juan has made an incredible move down here in 3 and 4, Mike. I mean, he sailed around the outside to pass Matt Kenseth's and 2 lap cars. He's got that outside figured out. Watch him go high right here. And he doesn't mess around. Slides that thing right up to the
We got problems over 3 and 4. Caution is out.
3 cars pile up, including Rudeman and Kane. One more at the bottom of the racetrack.
Ooh, that's another hard lick for David.
I'm sure I killed another one.
And there is Brian Vickers, the 3rd car involved.
See what happens here going down the back. The 16 Biffle on the inside. Here comes Rudeman. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gosh,
Biffle went to move up, and the hole was not there.
He got 2 at once. He got the 83 from the back and the 00 from the front. And there's Casey Kane hooked up and can't get loose. Watch his 16 car. He gets 2 at once. Bam, bam.
Another hard lick, and remember at Fontana, California, it was Greg Biffle that got into David Rudeman on that wreck at Fontana.
Well, I don't understand this one. I mean,
let's watch from Casey Kane.
Stay low, get low, get low, get low.
We saw Biffle coming up. I wonder, Darrell, was Rudeman starting to turn in at the same time?
looks like it could have gone, you know, looked like that the 00 maybe was going to move down a little bit. They kind of made contact. Not sure exactly what took place there. Just a little too confusing.
See the damage on Greg Biffle, a 16 car.
Brian Vickers is out of the car and okay.
Brian has had a fairly decent day, led a lap or 2.
There are the 4 cars involved, including both of the Toyotas in the race. 2 of the 4, rather. And it's time for our second AT&T Singular Virtual Crew Chief question. Which was the best ever Atlanta finish? Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte in 2000. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon in 2001, which we showed you earlier, or Carl Edwards beating Jimmy Johnson in 2005. Text the word crew to 191 on your AT&T Singular wireless phone. Singular is the new AT&T.
That would be a tough vote right there. All 3 of those races were awesome, and you just never know. You know, 94 laps, we could set up and have the same kind of finish.
Oh, I always say Atlanta, anything's possible.
Speaking of Bobby Labonte, he gets the free pass on this, the 4th caution flag of the day for a 4-car pileup in turn number 3.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HD TV, is sponsored by Chevy, the most wins in NASCAR history, an American Revolution.
It's big, it's bad, it's victory red. Go to foxsports.com/Silverado for a chance to meet Dale Jr. and drive away in his all-new 07 Chevy Silverado. Little cleanup work down in turn number 1. Still going on as the field was given the 1 to go sign, and there is the remains of Brian Vickers' car. His teammate A.J. Allmendinger was one of the cars that failed to qualify for the race. And there's a little remedial work on Kevin Harvick's Chevy.
Let the jack down. We got to go.
Got a bunch of
cars. Not going to go. Stay there. Not going to go. Halfway down the back.
We got a bunch of cars on pit road doing a little remedial work.
They have waved off the restart because of the cleanup still going on in turn number 1. So we'll go 1 more lap of caution. Go down and check in with Jeff Hammond.
Mike, we keep watching the 24-car Jeff Gordon working on his problem on the right front. What's happened here? We talk about the inner panel. This is the inner panel. What it does is when it's pushed properly, it seals off the fender, makes downforce, keeps all this dirt and dust and smoke out of side of the race car. But since that damage on the right front, it's flopping around, and it's also restricting the tire going in and out of the opening there to be able to change it. What they've had to do is come back in, push it back together, and they've taken duct tape and bare bond and effectively put it back together to try to seal it all off so that he can continue not only in the race but also for the guys to be able to continue to change tires. Hopefully this won't create a problem later on in the day. Guys?
Well, the problem he has is he actually went a lap down that time sitting on pit road. He actually got lapped on pit road. And we had about half of our lead lap cars come to pit road here with about 90 laps to go. That way they know they can make it on one stop. But Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch's teammate on this caution, he was penalized for speeding coming onto pit road in the 12 car.
But you got to fix it now, because under green, when you come in for a green flag stop, you wouldn't be able to get that tire in there. You'd be in bad shape again. So,
and we could have one more green flag stop.
And they did not intend to lose a lap, but Gordon did not beat the pace car past that start finish line and down to the end of pit road. So his teammate Jimmy Johnson leads the race over Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, Carl Edwards, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Montoya in 6th. Kenseth, Burton, Sorensen, and Sadler the top 10. Now,
and for Jeff, that's an unnatural thing to do, but he should have sped. He should have speeded out of the pits and beat the pace car, start at the end of the longest line.
That'd have been the only penalty.
But we're not trying, you know, you don't think about that.
Our Q Motor Oil race summary. With 90 laps to go, Jimmy Johnson, who has led 129 of 235 laps, more than half the laps we've run today. 11 leaders, 25 lead changes. We had 2 cautions for debris, 1 for oil from Scott Riggs, and now a 4-car pileup in turn 3 involving David Rudiman and Greg Biffle, who got together and took Brian Vickers and Casey Kane with them. Steve?
Yeah, Mike, this garage was absolutely vacant until Scott Riggs brought his Dodge in here. Scott, I saw you debriefing with Rodney Childers. What happened to the power plant?
Not real sure. You know, we think it might have dropped a valve or broke a valve spring and then dropped a valve or something like that. But just hate it for everyone at Stanley Tools because we had those guys on board at California and didn't make a very good showing there. So wanted to have a good showing from today. And we had a good car, not lack of effort. Can't give any any hard knocks to the guys on the engine shop. They do a good job, make a good horsepower for us. First one we've had in a race and since way early last year. So I just hate it for everybody involved. Valvoline, out of value, bumper to bumper, every ride, Abraham Motorsports.
Better luck next week, Scott. Thanks.
I hope so. Thanks.
3 of the 4 cars involved in that crash have gone to the garage. Kane, Biffle, and Vickers. Rudiman was able to make repairs. He continues 7 laps down as we get ready to restart with 88 to go.
Watch these restarts and see if anybody spins the tires. That's it. See Dale Jr. right there. Juan Montoya, he jumps out because Jr. spun his tires. That happens all the time on a restart.
And these guys actually had a couple of laps on those tires, so they definitely were hot and had junk on them.
Right, and you've got 850 horsepower. You better have them cleaned off when you get ready to go.
Montoya may have brushed the wall coming off 2.
Oh, yeah, coming off turn 2. He is using all of this racetrack and then some.
Tell you, he's a man on a mission. Now watch Junior back there. See him, car spins the tires right there, and you see how he gets sideways, and that opened the door for Juan, and he goes flying by.
Lead change.
Another one goes flying by here, another orange car.
Tony Stewart in that 20 car, he takes the lead back. It's taking him It's taking him about 100 laps to overcome that problem on pit road with the lug nut, but here he is back to the front with 87 to go.
And these 2 cars traditionally are both good on long runs, so I don't know how you're going to back up to Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart.
Steve?
Hey, Mike, Tony Stewart made an interesting comment just before the green flag. He told Greg Zipadelli, let's make a note. I want a left side mirror on this race car starting next week.
Hey, guys, how good is Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, Juan Pablo Montoya right now? 239 laps into this race. All 3 of those guys just ran the fastest lap that they've run in this race.
But the reason he says that, Tony's an old sprint car guy and open wheel guy. They don't use rear view mirrors in sprint cars and midgets. And he's probably been kind of resistant on having one. Get somebody running up their left side of you and you don't know they're there. It'll make you wish you had one.
And you know, Daryl, Casey Kane told us yesterday, remember, he came from open wheel cars too. He says, you know, you can't see out of these cars. He said, when you go back to our open wheel sprint cars, all you had was that cage you could see, but you cannot see out of these race cars.
29 Daytona winner Kevin Harvick battling there with Joe Nemechek in the 13 and Bobby Labonte in the 43. That is a three-way battle for 16th spot, Krista.
Kevin Harvick having to come back down to fix some of that left rear fender damage on the quarter panel there. But you know something he said I can't really drive it until we get back into the track, meaning no rear grip. But his crew chief Todd Barrier said, don't worry, we'll get you back up there. And Kevin answered with, and I guess this would be Jeff Hammond's words, yeah.
But Harvick started way back in the 36th position as they're 3 wide here on the front straightaway. He just kind of had a so-so day, but he's hung out on the lead lap in the 29 car, as well as Joe Nemechek there in that 13 car. He's been on the lead lap all day long.
This is 9 seconds behind the leader.
And not what Jeff Gordon wants to see, I can tell you. These guys all slicing and dicing in front of him. Hadn't had to look at that all day.
Well, Gordon, before the long stop and losing a lap, was in position to take the point lead from Mark Martin. Not anymore.
Mark Martin, he's just kind of hung out in the top 15 all day long in that 01 car. Right now sitting back in 12th.
Be interesting to see how Gordon's car does, because how many times have we seen him get back in traffic and can't go anywhere? I think they've helped that a lot this year. I haven't seen that as much, but
too bad. Keep coming, man. Keep coming
for them in the past.
Here's our NEXTEL Cup Series leader, Mark Martin, who right now would leave Atlanta 27 points ahead of Jeff Burton.
Remember, Darrell talked to him under the pace laps, and of course the big question, if he leaves here the points leader, what will he do? He told us on trackside Friday night, I'll see you guys in Texas in about 3 races.
Just remember this, when we get to Richmond, the 12th place guy last year was 600 and some points behind the leader. How many races would that mean you could miss and still be in the chase? 3?
2, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3.
Especially if you're running like he's running right now.
The way he's been running.
All top 5 finishes the first 3 races.
He can miss a couple of races and then decide if he wants to go for the championship. That's the beauty of the chase, I guess.
Montoya moves up to 4th. He just passed Clint Boyer, and he's closing on 3rd place Carl Edwards, Dick.
So many people think you need a lot of experience at a racetrack to be able to run as well as Montoya. But he told me yesterday that he had to use a GPS just to find this place. He finished 8th in the Busch Series race yesterday, and he's having a great run today.
Yeah, Dick, he'd never seen this place till Friday morning. In fact, David Stremme, his teammate, took him around in one of the safety trucks just to show him around the place.
He's hustling that baby, I can tell you.
Yes, he is.
Could you imagine having your Garmin in the racetrack? You know, your little Garmin Nuvi? Make a left turn now.
Yeah.
Make a left turn now. I get tired of hearing that on the road. I don't want to hear it.
Sound like you'd think your crew chief was talking to you.
Right.
Now, Jeff Burton in the 31 just went by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8. That was a battle for 7th. So the 31 car, after starting deep in the field, he's up well in the top 10.
There goes Juan by the 99.
He's coming. All right, let's answer our singular virtual crew chief question. The best finish ever at Atlanta, you said.
Expect it's A.
No, actually it was B. Kevin Harvick over Jeff Gordon. Very emotional day for those drivers and for us and for the fans.
I think circumstances prevailed there, absolutely.
2001.
But yeah, talking about Montoya, he just ran a 30.67. Our leader, Tony Stewart, the 20, just ran a 30.91, over 2/10 faster than our leader right now, Tony Stewart. But he is running the high line all the way around this place.
Casey Kane has come back in the race after being involved in that 4-car pileup at lap 231.
Well, if you don't know the racetrack very well, I guess the easiest thing to do would just be get out next to the wall and stay there.
And you know what, Darrell, people's been asking us why we keep talking about Juan Pablo Montoya. We rest our case. Look at him in his 5th start.
The Kobalt Tools 500, presented by DLP HDTV, is sponsored by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. By Haviland, introducing Haviland with new deposit shield. Protect precious metal. By Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. This is Budweiser. This is beer. And by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh. 71 laps to go in Atlanta. 11 leaders, 25 lead changes. Tony Stewart taking the lead early, leading currently as we speak. Jimmy Johnson in this race has led the most laps, 132. Jeff Gordon led for 30 laps, but the
had a problem right there. Yeah, had a problem. Couldn't get the right front tire on. The inner panel that protects the driver had become messed up, and they had to come back in and work on it. And after a while, he actually lost a lap on pit road.
After falling to 7th, and then with 95 laps to go, David Rudiman, and you see into Greg Biffle and Brian Vickers. Biffle was running in the top 10 at the time. All 4 drivers physically okay, but bringing out the caution flag. And as of right now, Tony Stewart leading Jimmy Johnson, and Juan Pablo Montoya is running 3rd. But Mark Martin currently, who you know is taking next weekend off, still hanging on to that points lead and hanging around the top 12, top 13.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good battle right now going on back there with David Stremme and Kurt Busch. But, you know, Mark's always been one of those kind of guys who's going to lay back there in the weeds to right there at the end and try to make a run.
And Mike, Steve Burns reporting that they may have some problems there, Mark Martin's car, as they head into the pits next time around.
We'll update with Steve in just a bit. Here's Tony Stewart, who has led a couple of times today, 3 times for 59 laps.
Now, you don't see Tony get up off the bottom very often. I mean, normally he rides that white line. And I noticed Jimmy's been moving around. I think some of the guys maybe called up, told him, Juan's running that high line. Maybe you want to try it.
The problem with Mark Martin is that they don't feel they're taking on a full load of fuel, and they may have to hold him a little bit longer on his next stop if that stop comes under green.
Because that next stop will come to where they're going to have to almost have a full load of fuel to make it to the end.
Good little battle right here.
Hey, Reed Sorensen's had a great run today. He's 9th in that target car, tracking Dale Earnhardt Jr. Started 11th, running 9th. He's the 2nd highest Dodge in the race. Montoya is 3rd.
See Casey Kane in the 9 back out there 17 laps down. Jeff Hammond made note of this earlier. Hard to believe that we're closing in on the final portion of this race and we only have 3 cars in the garage here. We have 40 out on the racetrack.
Yeah, but the next little bit here was going to, you know, it's going to really be when engines start to give trouble and things start to happen. We're getting near the end of the race. These engines have been working hard. 29 just went by. I guarantee he's down a cylinder. I could hear him.
And just remember, his teammate Jeff Burton in 31 car actually broke a valve at Las Vegas last week. Had an alternator wire problem, but a valve as well. And you can see pretty much the RPM right there.
Hang in there, baby. We can finish. Burton's made it the whole race last time, so we'll see what happens.
There you go. That's what he was talking about. Jeff Burton actually ended up finishing 15th at Las Vegas last week with a broke valve. But you can see he's about 1,000 RPM off at the end of the backstretch.
Yeah, but Burton's problem came right at the end of the race. We still got a long way to go here.
100 miles.
You heard Harvick's engine as it went past sounding very flat. Now Tony Stewart right now has a 1-second lead on Jimmy Johnson. Their lap times are just about identical. They're within hundredths of a second of each other. But in 3rd, Juan Pablo Montoya is within sight of the leaders. Dick Berggren.
Yeah, but his car has tightened up on him. The spotter has told him change his line, try some other place on the racetrack and see if that will help the guy in front of him, Jimmy Johnson. His car has also tightened up on him.
I think I know why, Dick. It's getting late in the afternoon. Turns 1 and 2 are really shaded now. And that's what I was expecting to happen. These cars get tight at the end of the day as the sun goes down, particularly in turns 1 and 2.
All right, Larry, you got one more pit stop at least. Are you going to adjust for the shaded end of the speedway or the end of the track that's still sunny and slick?
I think based on what I'm seeing on the stopwatch, you're going to have to make that adjustment for what they're telling you right now where you're hurting, which is down there in turn 1 and 2. And I think you may have to get pretty aggressive with that adjustment too.
Here's the 5th place race. Matt Kenseth has just passed Clint Boyer for 5th place behind Carl Edwards. Tony Stewart remains your leader, but Jimmy Johnson is closing.
Very soon, Fox Saturday Baseball returns. Fox Sports, the home of baseball's greatest moments and stars.
Ortiz into center field at the wall. Ortiz has done it again. Barry Bonds, deep drive, right field, 7-14. Varitek and A-Rod going at it.
Fox Saturday Baseball returns Saturday, April 7th with a brand new start time. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific for your game of the week.
From the start of the season, Fox Saturday Baseball at a new time. Caution is out here in Atlanta. 5th one of the day. Debris in the back straightaway will put us under caution. And we'll show it to you. And Mike Bliss just ran over a piece of something.
It's a piece of the skirt, side skirt.
Okay.
It's normally made out of a plastic material.
That's what it looks like. You know, that hard plastic black stuff you put on the side of the car.
Kevin Harvick will get the free pass.
You know who I believe really wanted this caution flag? Let's go back to the report a while ago. Ryan Pemberton on Mark Martin, our points leader. Had it been green, they were going to have to hold him in his pits longer to make sure he was full. So now they can do it under caution conditions rather than under green.
Larry, the big question, 55 laps to go. Pits will open. You'll make this stop. Can you go all the way?
I think the way the pace is slowing down, I think you will be able to, but I guarantee you what these guys will be telling their drivers when they leave pit road, A, make sure it's full, but B, conserve me some fuel, Steve, as you leave pit road till we get back green flag racing.
Yeah, Larry Mack and Tony Stewart hits pit road. He just told his crew there's something or a piece of paper on my grill. Make sure you get it off. Small adjustment for Tony. Small air pressure adjustment, half a pound in the left rear tire, Dick.
Jimmy Johnson in the upper right-hand corner of your screen has led the majority of laps today. They're going to adjust the wedge on the car. Montoya in the lower left is out of his pit stall already.
If this stays green, this will be Jeff Burton's last stop. They can go the distance. They love that set of tires. They put on 4 fresh ones and said, fill it full of fuel. We're going to go the distance.
Stewart first in, first out. Kenseth second. Another great stop for those killer bees.
I guarantee you those boys were picking them up and laying them down with that 17 car.
When it counts, they rise to the occasion every time. Maybe Robbie rises to the occasion.
This could be the last pit stop of the day, but nothing is certain, and that's why we stick around.
The Kobalt Tools 500 presented by DLP HDTV is sponsored by Kobalt, the next generation of tough tools, available exclusively at Lowe's. By State Farm, great service, great rates. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. By TGI Fridays Restaurant's new right portion, right price menu. Give me more Fridays. And by DLP HDTV, powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors.
Tony Stewart is our leader over Matt Kenseth as we're about to go back to green. Nextel helps NASCAR and NASCAR fans get things done. Who's getting it done?
Well, I think that 17 team, I tell you, as a driver, all you can ask for is a chance. And they give that man a chance every week by doing great pit work.
I'm going to go with a group and a driver that they've been getting it done on pit road. They've struggled this year because I think of coming out of Formula One. I'm going to go with Juan Pablo Montoya, Donnie Wingo, that 42 group.
I'm going to go a couple further spots further back. The hometown boy, Reed Sorensen, who grew up just outside Atlanta. He drives the Target number 41. He's driven a good race today, and the crews kept him on top of things and kept him in the hunt. He's not overdriven the car. He's got a solid 8th place run going right now.
Right now is when you got to be on your game, though, because they're doubled up here, and everybody's going to get real serious.
Tony Stewart gets a good restart outside of the Motorola car of Robbie Gordon.
It's kind of like golf. You know, your buddies will give you, you know, that 3-foot putt's okay. That 3-foot putt's okay. Pick it up. Then he gets down the end of the game, and you might be the winner, and they say, you know, you got to make that one.
There you go. And I tell you what they're going to have to make also, 51 laps of possible green flag racing. That's right there on that fuel window that these guys can go on a tank of fuel.
So that's the big question. Who can make it from here? Dick Berggren.
Montoya can make it from here. Johnson, maybe yes, maybe no. He corded a tire. Edwards cannot make it from here. Boyer can. Steve.
Dick, we know the 17 of Matt Kenseth, he cannot make it. He is 5 laps short. The 20, Greg Zipadelli just told Tony Stewart, it's borderline. Krista.
As we said, the 31 can make it. The 8 is on the bubble. His teammate, Martin Truex Jr., at first they said they'd be 2 laps short. Now they say they can go the distance.
The pattern I heard there is the Fords sound like they're saying we cannot make it, like Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth. Chevrolets, possibly yes, borderline. And the Dodgers look like they may possibly as well.
Jimmy Johnson with his teammate, the 5 laps down Kyle Busch, and Juan Montoya also caught in and amongst some lapped cars. Robbie and Jeff, no relation, Gordon.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car right now, 20th, 1 lap down. How he got a lap down, had a car that led this race. They had a panel behind the right front tire that came loose. They went to fix it under caution. He got trapped on pit road. He's 1 lap down now, back in 20th.
It's a good thing he got up near the front though, Larry, because he was caught back in traffic. He was going nowhere, but at least now he's up here with the air's a little better for him.
For more on the fuel mileage question, here's Jeff.
Mike, you guys are talking about fuel, but let's don't forget, if you run too hard, not only will you burn fuel, you're going to wear your tires out. So I think you got to have to be very careful not to abuse that right front or the right rear during this final run. I know it's time to go, but you're going to have to be very careful. You're right on that fine line of burning both up too soon.
Look at Juan. He's saying, get behind me, man. You're a lap down. He just gave him a signal out the window. But Juan is going to have a problem wearing out his stuff, because I don't know if he has the experience to know that you got to save a little bit for the finish here, as far as the tires go. Not as far as effort goes, but can't wear the tires out running as hard as you can go right now.
And I'm not sure on that last run he saved anything.
No,
about
that's
that
why I
race
say
car.
he drove her until the tires were gone.
18 cars on the lead lap, counting Kevin Harvick, who is running on 7 cylinders at the back of the pack. Tony Stewart leading Matt Kenseth by a narrow margin. And look at Chip Ganassi Racing. 3 cars in the top 15. Stremme 11th a bit ago. He slipped to 13th. But very solid performance for those Dodges.
And what's impressive, we talked about it earlier, Montoya in his 5th career start, Stremme and Sorensen, they only have 1 year under their belt, so a lot of young talent right there.
I think they're really all feeding off of each other very, very well. They'll buy into whatever. I think
keep on coming, still down there.
Now the 7 of Robbie Gordon is 1 lap down. He's trying to remain in position for the free pass should we get another caution. And Jeff Gordon's going to take that spot away from Gordon, which is why Robbie Gordon was running so hard. Try to stay in the free pass position. Jeff Gordon has it now.
That's a huge battle right there, because we get a caution. They pretty much know that's the only thing that can get them back in this race as far as possibility for a good top 10 finish, maybe a win when you're looking at the 24.
Yeah, I think Jeff Gordon may be having a sigh of relief right now, although he maybe not.
No, look at that wiggle as Robbie gets underneath the back of Jeff's car and it gets loosened up a bit.
There's no one that will push you harder than Robbie Gordon, I can tell you that.
And Jeff Gordon's car has not been that good in traffic today.
I saw Robbie get loose there down on the bottom in 1 and 2. Cost him a lot of ground there, and here comes the 31 going up to alongside of him.
David Stremme in 13th, 9 seconds off the lead. The 4th Dodge in the race behind Montoya, Sorensen, his teammates, and Kurt Busch.
Him in the 2 car back there in 12th. He's still trying to overcome that pit road speeding penalty that he had a couple of cautions ago.
Both he and his teammate Ryan Newman got a penalty, and it may be that some teams just didn't get the right number to run pit road speed. No speedometers in these cars, but they rely on the tachometer to give you engine RPM, which converts to speed.
You normally run those tacks on the dyno, and they will document whether they're high or low as far as the reading you see on the tack. And it's on the tack itself. It can be 100 high, it can be 100 low.
But the bottom line is, under the pace laps, they put 2 pace cars out there to lead the front half and the back half of the field around. He maintains pit road speed. That's when the driver gets that tack reading right there.
But not a very scientific way to determine when they're going to hold you to a couple of miles an hour and you got to decide on your tack within 100 RPM. It puts a driver in a precarious situation.
Give a call to this guy right here, Joe Nemechek, this whole team, Peter Suspenzo. This is one of the go-or-go-home cars every week. They've qualified for these first 4 races, had some bad luck at Las Vegas. They went in there in the top 10 in points, and now he's sitting there in the 15th position. Been on the lead lap all day long.
That, again, Chevy's a lot faster than the blimp they brought here to the Speedway today.
Yes, it is.
The wind was playing havoc with that thing the other day.
Now Montoya, he has caught in the 42 car. He has caught Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. This would be a battle for 3rd place here with 38 laps to go.
I just wonder if Johnson, you know, knowing he's a little close on fuel, backed it down a tad.
Yeah. Right now, he's almost 2.5 seconds behind leader Tony Stewart in that 20 car. We also need to mention that Greg Biffle in the 16 back out on the racetrack. Only 2 cars out of this race.
Now, earlier, Johnson would let drivers go who caught him quickly. How about now, Dick Berggren?
Well, Johnson right now is worried about his right rear tire. Recall that he corded a tire that was seen on the last pit stop. He suggested that on the next pit stop, if there is one, that they should add wedge. He is loose with that number 48 car, so he can't pedal it as hard as he'd like to, Mike.
This is pretty much where, as we say, you've got what you got, very possibly for the next 37 laps.
I guess they slapped that yellow piece of tape on that bottom opening down there on that last pit stop. Now, I don't think that's been on there up until then, and that can change the balance of the car to where it'll make that car really loose.
Normally, it will pin the nose down, put more downforce
in that area down there. There's a lot of pressure. You take that hole up, it changes the handle of the car dramatically.
And if he's loose, he's not going to like that 42 car on his rear bumper driving off in that corner at 190 miles an hour.
Oh, he's definitely loose. Saw him slide it off the corner there.
But this is no gimme. He came up the corner and covered the spot in front of Montoya. He's going to give Juan the high road.
And they come together right here on the exit. One high, one low. Seen that before.
And this time, Jimmy gains just a little bit of ground. The last lap, he was a 10th slower than Montoya. This lap, he's a half a 10th quicker. They are running 3rd and 4th, 2 seconds behind Tony Stewart and a second behind Matt Kenseth, the 2nd place car.
And as frustrating as a driver when you've been running well all day long and they make a little minor adjustment on that last stop, and now your car is not. I needed it now when I need it the most. You changed it.
Tell you what, while those 2 guys were going at it, I've been watching that orange car back there. You and I were talking about him a while ago. Jeff Burton in that 31 car won the Busch race yesterday. He's been coming slowly but surely back there in 5th spot.
And that's the kind of driver Burton is. He just kind of hangs around. But when it's time to go, we saw him out in Vegas. He turned the fastest lap of the race right at the end of the race.
33 laps to go next time by. Tony Stewart 1 second ahead of Matt Kenseth.
Look for me in the final laps.
That big orange ball in the sky is shining brightly on Big Orange, the number 20 Home Depot Chevy of Tony Stewart. He now leads Jimmy Johnson by 1.7 seconds. Matt Kenseth is 3 seconds back. Juan Pablo Montoya 3.6. Jeff Burton 4.5 seconds off the lead. You'll see the interval at the top of your screen. Usually our Good Hands driver is somebody who makes a great save, but today's Allstate Good Hands driver is Tony Stewart. Look at that piece of trash on the grill. How do you get it off the grill? You got to create some aerodynamic pressure to move it off there. So Brett Bodine drives the pace car, and Tony moves right up there and scrubs the piece of paper off the grill.
Voila.
Under caution. Bye-bye. Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR.
Tell you, Larry, Mike, I like what Jimmy Johnson's doing. He got to move. You know, he was racing hard there for a little bit with Juan Montoya. All of a sudden, Jimmy changed his line. He started going high in 1 and 2, working the bottom at 3 and 4, but he has really picked it up.
20 car as soon as possible, then you just start to throttle back a good bit. Right now, we're going to run out. If we do it on the same schedule that we've been doing all day long, we're going to run out at lap 325, or excuse me, 324. If we stretch everything as far as we think we possibly can, you're going to run out just on the other side of the start-finish line.
And Darrell, as a driver, why don't you talk about how he can actually conserve fuel?
Well, he's between a rock and a hard place, but exactly what Chad just told him. You got to get in the lead. Then you get you a little, you run it and get a little cushion, and then you start rolling out that throttle early. 9,500 RPM, back it down to 95, 92, or 92, 9,000. That will save gas, and don't jump back in the throttle wide open. Squeeze it down.
If he runs out on lap 324, that's the white flag line.
And you can get no help. You're on your own when you cross the white flag.
But his plan is to run out as soon as he crosses the line on 325.
So he's going to draft clouds, anything he can find.
But he's got to get to the 20 first. Doesn't do any good if he's got to pass him and get in the lead and then get a cushion and then back it off.
And of course, Tony Stewart, ever since he took the lead, he could have very well been out there conserving his fuel. Very easy to do, a lot easier to do when you're leading the race.
It sure looks like it just looking at lap times. Tony had slowed a little. Then Jimmy started coming. Now Tony's picked it back up.
Let's give a call to Jamie McMurray here. Qualified back in 37th position in the Irwin 2 car. He's been hanging in there in the top 20. Krista got his first top 10 finish in a long time last week at Las Vegas.
That's right, Larry Mack, and that's the funny thing about momentum. When you have it, well, it kind of keeps growing, and that's what is happening with Jamie McMurray and the Irwin Industrial Tools Ford here today. He's been pretty quiet. They've had a handle on the handling really all day, a little bit loose, a little bit tight. No major adjustments throughout the day. They are just kind of smooth sailing right now, currently in 13th.
Well, you know, Larry Carter went over there and works with Jamie now. I won't say that Larry Carter is the most technically smart crew chief I ever worked with, but you know what he is? He's good with the people. He's good relating to the driver and marrying everybody together and getting a total team effort. And that's what Jamie needed.
But to follow up on Krista, what she was, one thing she talked about there, he's one of those Fords like his teammate Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards. I guess a question on his 26 with 21 laps to go. Can that Ford make it to the end without stopping for fuel?
McMurray started 37th. He is up to 13th. Jeff Burton started 32nd. He's the 5th place car. Our biggest movers. Tony Stewart out in front by 1.3 seconds. There are 20 laps to go in the Kobalt Tools 500, presented on Fox by DLP HDTV. There's our 3rd place car, Matt Kenseth. Steve?
And Mike, Matt Kenseth just got some bad news from his crew chief, Chip Bolin. He said, best case scenario, Matt, with every drop in the car, you will run out of gas on lap 324. Dick.
Montoya very unhappy with the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, claiming he is making him expletive loose.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it's emotional.
Well, we always like to fill in the blanks, so fill in the blank.
And right now, Jeff Gordon 1 lap down back in 18th. Should we get a caution here in these last 19 laps, he would get the free pass and be back on the lead lap. But I'd say Montoya has a pretty good memory about what's going on here for the future.
Remember, those are the 2 fellows who traded cars at the road course at Indianapolis. Now
Very good point.
I bet Jeff Gordon would never have thought they'd end up racing each other.
They're trading paint now.
Now Gordon is 1 lap down. A lengthy pit stop caused him to fall from the lead lap. Montoya's the 4th place car.
Now one's having fun, not one is having fun, and the other one isn't. And the one in the
Juan is the one
that isn't.
Let's listen to somebody who makes some sense.
I hope.
Are you ready for some drama? Okay, need you to get past that 20 car as soon as possible, and then I need to start to throttle back a good bit. Right now, we're going to run out. If we do it on the same schedule that we've been doing all day long, we're going to run out at lap 325, or excuse me, 324.
Caution is out, and that changes everything.
Strategy's out the window.
Well,
now what this race is going to come down to is a pit stop on pit road free of mistakes. Who wins the battle off pit road with no mistakes?
Yeah, and who's got the best car on a short run? That'd be the other question.
Debris in turn 3. This will put Jeff Gordon back on the lead lap. He will get the free pass.
And Montoya's glad of that.
Yes.
You don't have to deal with it
fuel, just a splash of fuel.
Now, every pit stop so far today under green or caution has been fuel and 4 tires.
They're going to get tires.
They're going to
Here's
get
what
tires.
they're going to do, Mike. What they're going to do is they're going to wait till their tire changer comes around, or either they will be finished. That way that tire changer has a clear path going from right rear to left rear. Everyone will get 4 tires, trust me.
The splash of gas means that you're as light as you can be on 4 fresh tires.
And spoiler up in the air, because the more fuel you put in it, it lowers the back of the car.
Daytona, Talladega, packer full. Here, just give me enough to get to the finish.
But the biggest thing, it will help that pit stop too.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. The fuelers will be out of the way when the tire changer comes around the rear of the car.
Now, if I was a gambling man, I'd take me 2 tires.
You're going to do it on your own, buddy.
That's right.
You're going to be in that boat by yourself.
We're moving over to the far left side of the booth if you're going to get 2 tires.
I'm back here. I'm David Strimmy, Joe Nemechek, Elliott Sadler, Bobby Labonte particularly. Give me 2 and a little gas.
Okay, if you're running back there, maybe, Jeff.
Oh, now wait a minute.
But
Now,
if
wait a
you're
minute.
one of those top 10 or 12 cars,
You didn't ask me where I was
Give
running.
me 4.
You didn't ask me where I was running. I just told you.
Time to find out. Here they come to pit road. Steve?
Greg Zipadelli said to Tony Stewart, anything? He said, make me tighter, just a ½ pound at the most out of the right rear tires. You see them all hit pit road. Matt Kenseth will get a ½ pound of air back in his left front tire.
Jimmy Johnson in the upper right-hand corner. They're going to wind down on both ends of the back of that car because he has not been as good at the beginning of a run as the end. On the bottom, Montoya, a little bit more air pressure. Krista.
Down on this end, Jeff Burton said his car was a little bit free, but Scott Miller's crew chief said we're going to stick with it, no changes. He then said after that, Jeff Burton is going to go get him.
As you said, Larry, everybody got 4 tires.
These guys are no fun.
You owe me a steak dinner.
No, these guys are no fun, man. Somebody needed to take 2.
There you see Clint Boyer, the 07, Mark Martin, our points leader right now in the 01, gaining the most position. Reed Sorensen losing 3 spots, the 48 car losing 1 spot.
Let's put it this way. Everybody who wanted to win the race got 4 tires.
How about, look, man, you know, back here in the back, a little TV time would have been nice.
That's all it would have been, is a little bit.
Go, go, go.
Little game of chicken there coming down pit road.
Matt Kenseth wasn't going to be a taker, though. He was not going to back off.
Not that time.
This will be the battle here. Tony Stewart in the 20, Kenseth the 17 by ½ a car length. Jeff Hammond, can you believe your man up here even considered 2 tires?
Slap him, Darrell. I mean, Larry, slap Darrell, because, come on, man. You do one good thing and I do one good thing. I'll run the pitch, you drive the race car. You need 4 tires. Trust Larry and I on that
Yeah, it'd be one of those
situation right
deals.
there.
I know what my stopwatch shows. What's yours showing?
Exactly right. But one thing I want to point out, guys, in the drivers' meeting today, they actually talked about somebody pulling over on another driver. Could the pass be made? Could that momentum, as you start to pass the driver down pit road, is that legal or not? And what you just saw a minute ago is perfectly legal. You could carry that momentum, no problem.
Well, pit road is only so wide here.
All right, Jeff, we want to talk about certainly with Bobby Labonte, see how this cycles through here. You heard earlier Larry, Darrell, and Mike kind of talk about who to watch and how strategy's out the window with this latest caution coming out. So what do you look for here?
I'm looking right now, let the rough side drag, guys, because we're right inside that window. Don't have to worry about tires, don't have to worry about fuel. Now we're really going to find out who's got what and who's been saving what.
Let the rough side
I mean, just
drag.
kind of like pull those gloves up, pull those belts down, and get after it.
All right. right, Larry. Sounds like he's talking to you and Darrell.
That's exactly what you want to tell that driver right now, because it's going to get interesting here with just a few laps to go.
I told you, give me 4 tires.
Yeah, but that was the last time. Who do you like?
I like Tony Stewart. He's sitting there leading the race. He's fast. Been fast on short runs. I'll take Stewart.
I got to concur. I just think, you know, he's been strong all day long. He had that problem on pit road with the lug nut, but certainly that group has prevailed on every pit stop since then.
Jimmy Johnson's going to race him hard. We could have a drag race now. We could have that.
Sure, any of the top 3 could win it, but I want to see what Montoya can do in these closing laps.
He's good on the short run. We know that.
And we know he wants to win a race on an oval. That's what he said in Victory Lane at Mexico.
And he'll take her high.
Dick Berggren?
Well, it's a question as to how hard Jimmy Johnson's going to want to run. That's the right front tire. They just hauled the right rear out of here, and the same corded area is about that wide on the right rear. So Johnson, who showed no tire problems at all, unlike several of the other drivers during practice, is having them now late in the race.
And that was a run of 35 laps between caution periods. We only have 12 laps to go.
Yeah, so he's in good shape. Don't worry about that.
Just stand on it, my man.
Yeah.
No fuel problem, no tire problem.
You got 4 tires and enough gas to make it home. This is why we pay you the big bucks. What did he tell Earnhardt that time? Dale, you're a 7-time champion. Now go out there and get it done.
There you go.
6 Chevys, 1 Ford, and 3 Dodges in the top 10.
Now, since we will not be in that 10-lap window of 10 to go, we're going to have a double file restart. So Jimmy Johnson, Montoya, Burton, Boyer, Martin, they're going to have to contend with that inside line of cars that are lapped down.
Yeah, and that's not good because the 11 and the 5 are both really good race cars.
But the 11 is Tony Stewart's teammate, and Stewart gets a good jump as they take the green flag with 11 laps to go.
Boy, Johnson got a good start. He got a great jump. He's going to drive right under Matt Kenseth, looks like. But the 11 car is in his way.
Yeah, he got boxed in behind that. Let Kenseth.
Oh, here
but look
comes
at the run.
Montoya.
Montoya got off turn 2 there.
In the
he's
wall.
all against the wall.
Oh, man.
But I guarantee he may have been against the wall, but he's on the throttle.
He is. He just run out of racetrack, which I was worried about him doing sooner or later.
And a 3 wide back there with Montoya outside Burton now.
Tell you what, when you put fresh tires on these things, you can do a lot of. You can become Superman.
3 wide for 4th place. Burton's going to win that battle for the moment and seals the deal, closing off Montoya.
Well, he shut the door coming off turn 2 on him. That pretty much broke the 42's momentum, but he'll fight back here on the high side in 3 and 4.
9 laps to go this time. It's all happening in the rear view mirror of Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he's on it. He's on checking out. But I'll tell you, that 17 and the 48 get better as they go along if they don't run out of time. I think when Jimmy moves underneath the 17, got him past there.
Riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. a second ago back there in the 12th position in the 8 car.
I'm feeling it, boys. I'm feeling it.
Has that look about it, doesn't it?
I'm feeling it.
Johnson's on a flyer. He got past Kenseth, and he's closing right up on Stewart.
He was about 2/10 faster than Stewart that lap. There he goes downstairs. These guys just ran their fastest lap of the race. In fact, 3 of the top 4 did.
Yeah, well, turns 1 and 2 are almost, well, they are completely shaded now. A lot of grip on that end of the speedway. 3 and 4 is always good down low. That's the thing about those 2 cars, the 20 and the 48. They both like to run the bottom. That could be a problem at the end of the race.
And this is the way these guys finished the October race here back in the fall. Stewart won the race. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 finished 2nd.
7 to go.
2 pretty equal race cars right now, Larry.
That 48 got a great run off turn 2 that time onto the backstretch.
Oh, he's inching ever so closer. Gets back in the gas just slightly quicker than Stewart right that time in 3 and 4.
Just seems like he's a little better in 1 and 2, but remember, he's been loose. Probably the track's a little tighter down there because of the shade.
And remember, you know, Jimmy Johnson remembers.
Here he comes, guys.
The race he lost to Carl Edwards because Jimmy hugged the bottom and Edwards came around on the last lap on the outside.
He is just whipping that 20 car down in 1 and 2.
5 to go this time by.
Now he's starting to think about, what am I going to do? I can't get him off the bottom. I got to go high. He's going to dime in the corner, up high, cut her to the bottom.
And he is manhandling that thing in there. He is busy right up on the rear bumper. Remember, 1 and 2's where he's so good.
6 laps to go. The race pace is a second faster than it was before this caution. Stewart had a little bobble, and here comes Johnson.
Ooh, ever so close and ever so fast. Man, they're getting down there to qualifying speeds now.
There goes Johnson to the bottom in the 48 car, side by side, sliding off turn 4.
It's hard to do that right there. It's hard to get under another car and make that pass. Tony knows that. Tony's moved up now. He's going to give Jimmy the bottom, but it's going to be hard to complete the pass.
Even as they race side by side, they're the fastest cars on the track. These two and Jeff Burton, who is 4th.
I give Stewart I give him a lot of credit. That's some savvy driving. He knows Johnson wants the bottom. Give it to him, but keep him pinned down.
And there is no one sitting down at this racetrack.
3 to go this time as they come off 4.
Look at that thing. Look at that 48 slide off of turn 4, right up underneath Stewart. Now, he might be able to get it done this time, Larry.
I think
he's better. He's better down here.
Yeah, he's just going to go by him on the bottom side. He'll slide up in front of him off turn 2, but here comes Stewart back.
Not quite. Not quite.
Oh, Stewart on the wall.
Bumped the wall. Don't think it'll hurt the car.
Looked like Stewart eased it into 1 to give Jimmy the bottom and tried to make a run on the outside at him. Did brushing the wall hurt that car?
It probably knocked the right front fender in.
Good job there.
Yeah.
2 to go.
2 to go. There you hear it. He's just driving away now.
Yeah, I think it probably knocked the right front fender in, and that's going to take away some downforce.
He definitely hit that wall actually pretty hard.
Kenseth still 3rd. Jeff Burton 4th. Montoya 5th. Clint Boyer right on top of Montoya for 5th place.
But you got to give Tony Stewart a lot of credit. He bounced that car off the wall. He could have easily hooked the right rear of Jimmy Johnson.
No pressure. White flag this time.
I guess last week, Larry, we underestimated the 48. Can he win 3 in a row at Vegas? I said, I don't see how that could be possible. He did.
Yes, he
Today
did.
we say the 20 will walk off and the 48 will run second. Where is he at? Leading the race.
Title defense for Jimmy Johnson. The NEXTEL Cup champion going for 2 in a row. Back at 5th place, side by side, as Johnson comes to the line. Jimmy Johnson wins the Kobalt Tools 500. Stewart, Kenseth, Burton.
Look at this battle right here. Montoya will finish 5th. Clint Boyer 6th. Truex Jr. 7th. Edwards 8th. Sorensen 9th. Our points leader Mark Martin comes home 10th.
Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, car owner Rick Hendrick, and the Lowe's team seal the deal.
Finished 39th at Daytona back in the 500. The first time they'd been out of the top 10 in points in over 100 races. Followed it up by finishing 3rd at Fontana. Now 2 consecutive wins.
That was impressive right there. I'm sure Tony's not happy.
He's not too upset, but get you up, guys. Woo!
Stewart ran his fastest lap of the race with 9 to go.
This team right here. Now what he's doing, I hear it all the time. He's cranking front brake in the car so he can do a burnout. That's his brake bias knob.
And he has enough fuel to do the burnout now.
Yes. Notice on the burnout, the rear tires are spinning, the front ones are using the brake.
Very nice. High five. High five.
It's Jimmy's 2nd March win at Atlanta.
Oh, beautiful, dude. Beautiful.
Style points for that burnout. Jimmy Johnson's pass of Tony Stewart for the win is our Chevy winning moment. Congratulations to Jimmy, winner of the Kobalt Tools 500 from Chevy, an American Revolution.
Now, this pass actually started off turn 4 there. He got a great run underneath the Stewart, and then he's better in 1 and 2. We knew that. I think Tony thought he could hold him down, though. I think that was his plan. Gets a nose up there, but Jimmy is just in a point where Tony had to let him go.
And they never touched.
Nope. It's Johnson's 3rd straight top 3 finish following his 39th place run at Daytona. 25th career win for Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. Jimmy Johnson gets to burn down the house in Atlanta, the winner of the Kobalt Tools 500. For his car owner, Rick Hendrick, 9th Atlanta victory, second on the all-time list to 12 for the Wood brothers. And with Jimmy Johnson in victory lane, Dick Berggren.
151st win for Rick Hendrick, who congratulated his driver, saying he couldn't believe it, that his knees were so weak he could hardly stand. And they are celebrating, and my friend, you deserve to celebrate. How did you get by Stewart on the bottom?
We just had a great race car. We did the right things to get the car hooked up for that short run. I was real good on the long runs, but lacked a little on the short runs, and Chad got me the right adjustment there. So good. It's a great day for this Kobalt Tools Monte Carlo.
Tell me how the car was today. Was it as good as it seemed?
It really was. There were times where we weren't as strong as we needed to be on the short run in the 20, and some other guys had us by a little bit, but at the end of the runs, we were spot on. I just can't thank these guys enough for all the hard work, solid pit stops all day long, and all the hard work to win on this win.
Such a solid start to the season. Is it too early to start thinking championship?
No, we're thinking championship already, and I know that it's really the mode anymore. You want to make that chase, so you've got to worry about the points and trying to be in the top 12. So we're doing that right now. We just got to keep it up for a few more months.
Congratulations. You showed the fan a great race. To Krista.
Tony Stewart loves racing for the win. He loves winning the race more. Tony, it was so close there, the battle with Jimmy Johnson. If you hadn't scraped the wall there, would you have had this win?
I mean, he was faster than us right there. I just wish he had at least gave us room to race him for it. But, you know, that's racing, and that's why everybody loves coming here. I mean, that's why it's such a great feeling to go from racing last week like we had to being able to have racing like we had here this week. So, you know, happy. I mean, you know, wish we could have won it, obviously, but, you know, at least we gained a lot of points that we needed today, and finally gave this Home Depot team a boost that they finally needed. I didn't make any mistakes today.
One spot short, Tony Stewart.
Well, Mark Martin said this is the way he wanted to do it. Leave here with the points lead. Mark, your emotions with Bristol looming.
Oh, I feel good, man. I'm looking forward to next weekend. I want to thank all the fans that have supported me, especially this U.S. Army Chevy, and my team's incredible. We were off a little bit with the car today, but they fought so hard, and I love working with those guys, and this is how I want to do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With Juan Pablo Montoya and one top 5, you've got to be happy with that, but you don't look happy. Tell me what's going on.
No, I think it was good. I think everybody at Texaco Havoline Dodge did an amazing job today. You know, everybody, you know, the whole crew has been great, you know, and to see all 3 Ganassi cars running good today, I think it's big. It really shows the form of the team. It's a little bit pissed off because I had Jimmy in the last restart. I thought, oh, I got him, and I just ran out of road. And it's one of those things you think, oh, it's gonna go, it's gonna make it, and I didn't make it. You know, I just clipped it with the rear, and it just brought the car to the wall. And you know, he actually hit us. We lost the place there, but you know, we learn from there, and it's just nice. It's nice to have a good car, and I think the Busch race yesterday helped me a lot to get confidence running high. And you know, I tried at the beginning to run in the bottom with everybody, and just couldn't. Car for some reason it just doesn't handle good in the bottom.
A top 5, Chris Myers. You can tell he wanted just a little bit more.
Thanks, Krista. Best finish for his Cup career with Jeff Hammond here in the Hollywood Hotel. I want to go back to Tony Stewart. You know, we've had 5 last lap passes here for great finishes in Atlanta. With 3 laps to go, Jimmy Johnson took advantage of Tony Stewart, and you heard Tony say he would have liked a little more room to run there.
Well, Jimmy pretty much slammed the door on him coming off that turn right there 3 laps to go. But, you know, you can't blame Jimmy. That's what you talk about. When you carry that momentum off the top side, the guy on the bottom, when he starts to make that run over, he's got to give you that little bit. Well, that too many laps to go, he was bam. That was it. Killed that momentum, took everything off as far as Tony's
But
concerned.
Jimmy had the better car in that
Jimmy had
situation.
had the better car, but I think what Tony's saying is if he'd have stayed down, I could have at least raced him down the back straightaway and made more of a race out of it. He may not have got me with 3 laps to go, but maybe with 2.
Let's take a look at the unofficial results. You know that Jimmy Johnson just did edge out to Tony Stewart, and actually Jimmy told you coming into this race, hey, the pressure's off trying to defend the Cup, winning back-to-back races for only the 2nd time in his career.
I think it gave him the momentum he needed from Las Vegas, but being able to get that win early in the season kind of vindicated him and said, hey, he deserved to be a champion a year ago, and he's dang sure going to try awful hard to repeat this year.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. 14th, but Jeff Gordon making up the lap. Remember, had a chance early, ended up finishing 12th.
Well, they always used this term a long time ago, refuse to lose. That's what that team did today. They had a problem early on, but they bounced back when it counted and kept him up there in the points, kept him up there 3rd. After a disappointing, I'm sure, day for them.
Yeah, and finally out of the top 10, his string is snapped. No Toyotas in the top 25, and as Darrell Walter pointed out early in the race, they need to just run up front so they can get some good information as they try and move forward.
They still got a lot of work to do as far as Toyota's concerned, but I'm sure they're not going to quit anytime soon.
So Mark Martin goes in, and Mike Joy wanted us to point out the last time the points leader took a break and did not run was back in the early 80s when Cale Yarborough was not running a full schedule. And this is the first time for Mark Martin since 1990 that he has led the points for 3 consecutive races. Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart. And you see the rest of the point standings, and we'll see them all head to Bristol except for Mark Martin. He'll be watching, and we hope you will be. NASCAR on Fox. Next week, we'll move to Bristol. Our coverage on Friday, NEXTEL Cup Series qualifying on speed. On Saturday, NEXTEL Cup Series practice, followed by another Cup Series practice on speed. Sunday, NASCAR race day on speed. And it's NEXTEL Cup Series racing on Fox, followed by NASCAR Victory Lane on speed. Our coverage continuing next weekend across the Fox family of networks. Kurt Busch batting .500 at Bristol. He's won 5 of the last 10 races there, finishing 11th today. Might he pull off another creative snow angel? For our entire production crew, Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers in the Hollywood Hotel. Jimmy Johnson goes back-to-back. We'll see you next week in Bristol. Take care. Promotional considerations provided by the following.